Chapter 1251 Scorching Sun, Divine Earth War Shield. When Mo Qingyun retreated, he executed two defensive divine abilities to block Yuan Mo's domineering palm strike. The moment the Divine Earth War Shield and Inferno Shield were formed, Yuan Mo's palm strike landed on them, creating a terrifying spiritual energy storm. Bang bang. Two loud sounds rang out in succession. The Divine Earthen War Shield and the Raging Flame Shield immediately shattered upon receiving Yuan Mo's palm strike. However, with the Divine Earth War Shield and Inferno Shield's defense, 80% of Yuan Mo's palm strike's power was depleted. The remaining two palm strikes landed on Mo Qingyun and immediately blasted Mo Qingyun out of the Immortal Slaughtering Platform, crashing into a mountain beside the Immortal Slaughtering Platform. Bang! Under Mo Qingyun's collision, a large hole was smashed into the mountain peak, setting off a terrifying sandstorm. After seeing this scene, the expressions of the surrounding people froze as they nervously looked at the center of the sandstorm. Was Mo Qingyun still alive? Bang! At this moment, a loud noise came from the sandstorm under everyone's gazes. Then, a figure slowly walked out of it. The figure was Mo Qingyun, and he was still alive. Mo Qingyun was only at the 5th level of the Heaven tier, but he was still alive after receiving Yuan Mo's full-force palm strike. This was beyond everyone's expectations. Junior brother Mo, Ji Qiong and Qin Guangxuan were nervous when they saw Mo Qingyun walking out of the sandstorm. They quickly rushed towards Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun smiled at Ji Qiong and Qin Guangxuan. Senior brother Ji, senior brother Qin, you don't have to worry. I'm fine. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ji Qiong and Qin Guangxuan's expressions relaxed, and their hearts finally relaxed. Subsequently, Mo Qingyun walked to the front of the Immortal Slaughtering Platform and confronted Yuan Mo on the Immortal Slaughtering Platform. Everyone was shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun's performance. They did not expect Mo Qingyun to be unharmed. He's only at the 5th level of the Heaven tier, and he's actually unharmed after receiving Yuan Mo's full-force palm strike. This Mo Qingyun is too monstrous. After today's battle, Mo Qingyun's name will spread throughout the entire Eternal South Immortal Palace and be noticed by the upper echelons. I wonder if Mo Qingyun will be lucky enough to be taken in as a disciple by the Immortal Palace's elders. At this moment, everyone was very clear that no matter what the result was, Mo Qingyun had become famous in this battle. Looking at Mo Qingyun below the Immortal Slaughtering Platform, Yuan Mo was shocked. He carefully sized up Mo Qingyun and said in surprise, "You're fine?" After Yuan Mo uttered those words of surprise, a cold smile appeared on his face. He said provocatively to Mo Qingyun, "Mo Qingyun, since you're fine, then don't dilly-dally. Come up and fight me." Junior brother Mo, you can't. Ji Qiong and Qin Guangxuan were nervous when they heard Yuan Mo's request. They hurriedly tried to persuade Mo Qingyun. They were afraid that Mo Qingyun would impulsively fight Yuan Mo because of Yuan Mo's provocation. Senior brother Ji, senior brother Qin, don't worry. Just a provocation is not enough to make me lose my mind. Seeing Ji Qiong and Qin Guangxuan's reaction, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly at them. Then, he turned to Yuan Mo and said, "Yuan Mo, I've consumed a lot of energy in my battle with Lu He. When I recover, I'll fight you again. If you don't dare, then you don't dare." Looking for excuses is what a trash does. Yuan Mo seemed to have expected that Mo Qingyun would refuse. He immediately ridiculed Mo Qingyun when he heard this. And then he said, "I originally thought that you had some courage, but I never expected that you're actually a cowardly piece of trash. You're truly too disappointing. Yuan Mo, do you think you can force me to fight you with such low-level provocation? You're too naive." Mo Qingyun was not to be outdone by Yuan Mo's mocking words. He retorted with disdain on his face and said, "Also, don't you think it's shameful for you to challenge a person at the 5th level of the sky, human realm, with your peak immortal core stage cultivation?" When Mo Qingyun said this, the expressions of the surrounding people immediately changed, and they began to point at Yuan Mo. This Yuan Mo is really too shameless. He's obviously taking advantage of his power to bully others. This Mo Qingyun is quite alert. He didn't lose his mind and fight Yuan Mo because of Yuan Mo's provocation. Today, if Yuan Mo can't get rid of Mo Qingyun, it'll be difficult for him to get rid of Mo Qingyun in the future. At this moment, everyone had different opinions about Mo Qingyun and Yuan Mo. When everyone was evaluating Mo Qingyun and Yuan Mo Qingyun had a solemn expression. He stared at Yuan Mo, who was on the immortal slaying platform, and said, "Yuan Mo, don't be too anxious. After I become a core disciple, I'll naturally challenge you. I hope you won't run away at that time." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he ignored Yuan Mo and turned to Ji Qiong and Yuan Mo and said, "Senior brother Ji, senior brother Qian, let's go." Then Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan supported Ji Qiong and left in front of everyone's eyes. Seeing Mo Qingyun and the other two leave, Yuan Mo's face immediately turned gloomy and his body emitted a strong killing intent. If it wasn't for the Eternal South Immortal Palace's rule that core disciples couldn't attack new disciples, he would definitely kill Mo Qingyun today. Seeing Mo Qingyun and the other two leave, the others did not stay any longer and left the immortal slaying platform one after another. After everyone left the immortal slaying platform, news about Mo Qingyun's battle spread quickly. Soon after, in a hall of the Eternal South Immortal Palace. This was the place where the people in charge of the Eternal South Immortal Palace discussed all kinds of important matters in the Immortal Palace. At this moment, the hall was filled with people. All of them had a joyful smile on their faces, as if they were discussing some great news. "Everyone, I think all of you should know about Mo Qingyun's matter by now, right?" After glancing at everyone in the hall, the palace master of the Eternal South Immortal Palace, Bai Kang, asked everyone with a faint smile. He continued, "Mo Qingyun's cultivation base is at the peak of the early stage of the 5th level of the Sky Human Realm, and he killed Lu Ha, a core disciple in the intermediate stage of the Immortal Core Realm. The talent and potential he displayed is rare." "Palace Master, you mean?" Hearing Bai Kang's words, the Supreme Elder Wang Jianfeng frowned and asked for Bai Kang's opinion. After Wang Jianfeng's words, the others in the hall were curious as well. They want to know what Bai Kang's plan was. Chapter 1252. Hearing Bai Kang's words, everyone was surprised. They didn't expect him to value Mo Qingyun so much. Everyone knew very well that once Mo Qingyun became Shi Tongqing's last disciple, it would be equivalent to a carp leaping over the dragon gate. Of course, if Mo Qingyun wants to become the last disciple of old ancestor Shi Tongqing, he still needs to pass my test. Looking at the expressions of the people below, Bai Kang immediately understood what they were thinking. He explained his thoughts and said, "Recently, I found out from the Luo He Celestial Kingdom that there are some ancient god clan members wandering around the abyss of the Luo He Celestial Kingdom. Therefore, I contacted the East Dawn Celestial Palace and Frosty Celestial Palace and decided to send a few disciples to investigate." Hearing Bai Kang's explanation, Wang Jianfeng and the others below looked at each other and understood how Bai Kang wanted to test Mo Qingyun. However, this test seemed to be a little too difficult for Mo Qingyun. They were very clear about the danger of the abyss of the ancient gods by the Demon River. It was definitely not a place that a celestial realm cultivator could go. After considering this, a supreme elder named Gu Tingyao said with a worried expression, "Palace Master, the abyss of the ancient gods by the Demon River is extremely dangerous. Wouldn't it be too dangerous to send Mo Qingyun to investigate the situation?" What if, hearing Gu Tingyao's concern, everyone in the hall nodded and agreed with Gu Tingyao's concern. Bai Kang seemed to have expected that someone would ask such a question. After hearing Gu Tingyao's question, he said with a solemn expression, "Since it's an experience, there will naturally be a certain amount of danger. If he doesn't experience any danger, how can he take on great responsibilities in the future? On the cruel path of cultivation, flowers in greenhouses won't go far." Hearing Bai Kang's words, Everyone in the hall stopped talking and felt that Bai Kang's idea was reasonable. Then, Bai Kang and the others discussed for a while and decided on the candidates to investigate. They were Mo Qingyun, Qian Guang's son, and Yuan Xie. About 15 minutes later, Bai Kang's mission was passed to Mo Qingyun and the other two. After receiving the mission from Bai Kang, Mo Qingyun and the other two were extremely surprised. They didn't expect that the palace master would personally give them a mission. After receiving the mission from Bai Kang, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan did not waste any more time. They bid farewell to Ji Qiong and left the Eternal South Immortal Palace. When Mo Qingyun and Mo Wuji left the Eternal South Immortal Palace, they did not follow Yuan Xie. Instead, they left Yuan Xie behind. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, if they stayed with Yuan Xie, they wouldn't even have a chance to escape if Yuan Xie did something evil. Just as Mo Qingyun thought, Yuan Xie received Bai Kang's order and began to scheme against Mo Qingyun. At this moment, in Yuan Xie's mansion, senior brother Yuan Xie, Mo Qingyun, and Qian Guangxuan are going to the Luo He Immortal Kingdom with you to complete the mission personally given by the palace master. Knowing that Yuan Xie was going out to train, Golden Face of 100 Faces and Yunxing were surprised. Gradually, a cold smile appeared on their faces. In their opinion, Mo Qingyun's departure from the Eternal South Immortal Palace to the Luo He Immortal Kingdom was the best opportunity for them to get rid of Mo Qingyun. Seeing the two's reaction, Yuan Xie smiled sinisterly and said, "Originally, I was worried that I wouldn't have a chance to get rid of Mo Qingyun since he's been hiding in the Eternal South Immortal Palace. Now that the palace master has personally given me a mission, it's like sending charcoal in the snow. I'll go back to the clan now and ask the elders of the clan to go to the Luo He Immortal Kingdom and kill Mo Qingyun on his way there. Just to be sure, I'll go back to the clan and ask the elders to take action as well. We must make sure that Mo Qingyun dies a horrible death." Knowing that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to kill Mo Qingyun, Golden Face of 100 Faces and Yunxing no longer hesitated and went back to the clan to ask their elders to kill Mo Qingyun. Now, Mo Qingyun was like a fishbone stuck in their throats. If they didn't get rid of it, they would never feel comfortable. After the two left, Yuan Xie also went to the Yuan clan to ask the elders of the Yuan clan to take action against Mo Qingyun. With that, a silent killing intent shrouded Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan. The Luo He Immortal Kingdom was quite far from the Eternal South Immortal Palace. Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan traveled for 10 days straight before they finally arrived at the Luo He Immortal Kingdom. When Mo Qingyun and Yunxing arrived at the Luo He Immortal Kingdom, they went straight to the palace to meet the king of the Luo He Immortal Kingdom and ask about the situation of the primordial divine's abyss. After a short while, Mo Qingyun and Yunxing arrived at the palace and found the king of the Luo He Immortal Kingdom. At this moment, there were 6 other young people sitting in the courtyard of the king of the Luo He Immortal Kingdom, discussing with the king. Seeing the 6 people in the courtyard, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan exchanged glances and immediately guessed the identities of these 6 people. They should be disciples from the other 2 great immortal palaces. While Mo Qingyun and Yunxing were sizing each other up, the 6 people were also sizing up Mo Qingyun and Yunxing with disdain and mockery. After a short while, a young man in a red robe among the 6 said with a mocking expression, "Has the Eternal South Immortal Palace fallen to such a state? They actually sent a sky human brat here." Hearing this person's mocking words, Qian Guangxuan's expression immediately darkened, and he shouted angrily at the red-robed young man, "Brat, try saying that again if you dare. Although your cultivation is higher than mine, your strength is not necessarily stronger than mine. What? Do you want to fight?" Seeing Qian Guangxuan's action, the red-robed young man's expression turned ugly, and he stood up and glared at Qian Guangxuan. Looking at the attitude of Qian Guangxuan and the red-robed young man, it looked like they were going to fight if they didn't get along. Seeing this, The king of the Luo, he immortal kingdom's expression immediately trembled, and he hurriedly persuaded Qian Guangsun. Immortal masters, please calm down. The most important thing for us now is to investigate the situation of the primordial divine's abyss. We can't have internal conflicts before we figure out the situation. Hearing the king of the Luo, he immortal kingdom's persuasion, a young man dressed like a scholar quickly got up and said to the red-robed young man, Junior Brother Li, the king is right. The most important thing for us now is to investigate the situation of the primordial divine's abyss, not to fight among ourselves. Hearing the advice of the young man, dressed like a scholar, the red-robed young man snorted in displeasure and walked back to his seat. When the red-robed young man returned to his seat, a golden figure walked into the courtyard. It was Yuan Xie, who had also come to the Luo He kingdom. Yuan Xie walked to the front of the crowd and glanced coldly at Mo Qinyan. Then he sat down on a seat. Chapter 1253. After a conversation, Mo Qinyan had a general understanding of the 6 people from the 2 immortal palaces. 3 of the 6 men were from the East Dawn Immortal Palace, namely Yuan Xiong, Lu Bing, and Sun He. They were all at the peak of the Immortal Dew stage. The person who had just argued with Qian Guangsun was Li Yuan Xiong from the East Dawn Immortal Palace, and the young scholar was Lu Bing. The last one, Sun He, didn't say a word from the beginning to the end. He should be a relatively eccentric person. The remaining 3 women were naturally from the Ling Shuang Immortal Palace, and their cultivation was also at the peak of the Immortal Dew stage. After a brief conversation with the 3 people from the Ling Shuang Immortal Palace, Missouri Qinyan had a general understanding of their characters. The woman in purple, Shueyu, was relatively indifferent. She was the same as Sun He. She always had an expression that kept people at a distance. The woman in blue, Wang Hui, was a calm woman. She could be regarded as the leader of the 3, and she led the actions of the Shueyu Immortal Palace. The last woman in green, Yin Yu, was an annoying, proud woman. She gave people the feeling that she was only a little better than Li Yuanxiu. After a discussion with the 2 immortal palaces, everyone had a unanimous plan to explore the abyss of the ancient god clan. At this moment, when everyone was discussing to go to the abyss of the ancient god clan, Mo Qinyan had a strong shock in his heart. He secretly said, I didn't expect the abyss of the ancient god clan to be related to the dark demon clan. It should be very dangerous. I must be very careful. Among the people present, Mo Qinyan was definitely the first person who was familiar with the dark demon clan. When he was in the Yuan Fu sect, Sun Rong, who he killed, got some inheritance of the dark demon clan. When Mo Qinyan killed Sun Rong, he plundered part of Sun Rong's memory, so he had some understanding of the dark demon clan. The dark demon clan had a magical power that could blend the bloodline power of other races into their own body. Therefore, an ordinary member of the dark demon clan may have the talent of multiple races, and he was a very difficult enemy to deal with. But for this, Mo Qinyan didn't intend to say it out loud. Even if he told them about the dark devil race, the people from the 2 great immortal palaces might not believe him. In that case, there was no need for him to seek trouble for himself. Seeing that everyone had finished their discussion and reached a consensus, Lu Bing smiled faintly at everyone and said, Everyone, since we've reached a consensus, let's not waste any more time. Let's set off for the Demon River immediately. All right. When they heard Lu Bing's suggestion, Mo Qinyan and the others nodded, and then they stood up and started heading towards the Devil's Lake. On the way to the Demon River, Yuan Xie's expression was extremely gloomy as he looked at the people from the 2 great immortal palaces. He thought to himself, this can't go on. With the people from the 2 great immortal palaces passing by, the elders of the clan won't have a chance to do anything to Mo Qinyan. Yuan Xie knew very well that the assassination of Mo Qinyan couldn't be carried out in public, because if he did that, the Eternal South Immortal Palace would lose face, and the Eternal South Immortal Palace wouldn't sit by and do nothing. Moreover, there were people from the other 2 great immortal palaces present, and the consequences would be even more severe. This wasn't something that the Yuan, Yun, and Bai Bian families could bear. More importantly, Yuan Xie wasn't sure if there were elders from the other two great immortal palaces secretly protecting them. Therefore, if he wanted to kill Mo Qingyun, he had to distract the people from the other two great immortal palaces. Thinking of this, Yuan Xie began to quickly think of a way to distract the people from the other two great immortal palaces. After thinking for a while, a cold smile appeared on Yuan Xie's face as he thought of a way to distract the two great immortal palaces. He said, "Senior brothers, your flying speed is much faster than ours. Why don't the six of you go to the abyss of the ancient gods first and wait for us there? There's no need to deliberately slow down to accompany us. You have some self-awareness." Hearing Yuan Xie's words, Li Yuanxiong smiled arrogantly and praised Yuan Xie. He then said, "Senior brother Liu Bing, senior brother Sun He, in this case, let's speed up." Hearing Li Yuanxiong's words, Liu Bing and Sun He both nodded and immediately sped up. Soon, they pulled away from Mo Qingyun and the others. "In this case, we'll go first. See you at the entrance of the abyss of the ancient gods." Seeing Liu Bing and the others fly away, Shui Yu and the other two didn't want to hesitate any longer. They said something to Mo Qingyun and the others, and then quickly chased after Liu Bing and the others. Seeing the people from the two great immortal palaces leave, Yuan Xie smiled ferociously, as if he had succeeded in some evil scheme. Seeing the change in Yuan Xie's expression, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but feel shocked and uneasy. "Senior brother Qian, let's fly to the southeast." Feeling uneasy, Mo Qingyun hurriedly told Qian Guang's son and took him to the southeast at top speed. Soon, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangsun got rid of Yuan Xie and pulled away from him. "Humph, you want to get rid of me? Dream on." Seeing that Mo Qingyun and Sun He wanted to get rid of him, Yuan Xie smiled evilly. He looked at Mo Qingyun and Sun He and said proudly, "I've already informed the elders of the House of Hundred Change, House of Yun, and House of Yuan. They'll catch up with you in the time it takes to brew a cup of tea. When that time comes, you can prepare to die." Sensing that Yuan Xie was not going to let them go, Mo Qingyun frowned, and the uneasiness in his heart grew stronger. He was sure that Yuan Xie must have contacted the experts of the Yuan family and was chasing after them at an extremely fast speed. When Mo Qingyun thought of this, he realized the seriousness of the matter and said to himself, "We can't go on like this. We have to get rid of Yuan Xie immediately. Otherwise, if the elders of the Yuan family catch up with us, senior brother Qian and I will definitely die." In Mo Qingyun's opinion, with his bad relationship with Yuan Xie wouldn't have followed Mo Qingyun and Sun He if he didn't have bad intentions. The teleportation gate. After guessing Yuan Xie's bad intentions, Mo Qingyun didn't think too much about it and directly used the teleportation gate. Then a whirlpool-like gate of light quickly condensed in front of Mo Qingyun. After a while, Mo Qingyun saw that the teleportation gate had finished condensing. He put his hand on Qian Guangsuan's shoulder and said, "Senior brother Qian, quickly enter the teleportation gate. We'll get rid of Yuan Xie, who's following us." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Guangsuan walked into the teleportation gate despite his doubts. Chapter 1254. Mo Qingyun and Qian disappeared. Seeing Mo Qingyun and Qian disappear in front of his eyes, Yuan Xie stopped in his tracks. This situation was far beyond his expectations. He really didn't think that Mo Qingyun would know such a method. At this moment, while Yuan Xie was fuming, several figures approached him rapidly. These people were sent by the Yuan family, Yin family, and Hunter Change family to kill Mo Qingyun. "Yuan Xie, where are Mo Qingyun and Qian Guang's son?" When they arrived in front of Yuan Xie, an elder of the Yuan family asked with a cold expression where Mo Qingyun and Qian Guang's son had gone. Hearing the elder's question, Yuan Xie showed an unwilling expression and said helplessly, "Granduncle, not long ago, Mo Qingyun used a teleportation method and escaped with Qian Guang Sunday escaped." Hearing Yuan Xie's answer, everyone was stunned. They were very surprised by Yuan Xie's words. They had received Yuan Xie's message. It had only been 100 breaths time, but Mo Qingyun had actually shaken Yuan Xie off. This was like a duck that had suddenly grown wings and flown away. This was not something they wanted to see. Damn brat, I actually let him escape again. I can't let him continue to grow. That's right. With this brat's methods, he will definitely be a disaster once he grows up. He won't be able to escape. Let's go to the Demon River and wait for him there. Hearing that Mo Qingyun had escaped, the elders of the three families were furious. They did not plan to let Mo Qingyun go. Immediately, Yuan Xie and the others rushed to the Demon River, ready to kill Mo Qingyun there. While Yuan Xie and the others were rushing to the Demon River, Mo Qingyun and Qianguang's son left the teleportation gate and arrived in front of Thin River. Standing in front of the river, Mo Qingyun had a solemn expression on his face as he scanned his surroundings. After looking around, Mo Qingyun confirmed his location. This should be one of the tributaries of the Luo River. The water here flows towards the west. If we head east, we should be able to reach the Demon River. After observing the surrounding terrain, Mo Qingyun said to Qian Guangxuan beside him. Then, he rushed toward the east of the river. Seeing Mo Qingyun rushing towards the east of the river, Qian Guangxuan did not hesitate and quickly followed behind Mo Qingyun. Junior apprentice brother Mo, what was that transfer gate? While traveling with Mo Qingyun, Qian Guangxuan asked Mo Qingyun about the teleportation gate with a curious expression. Until now, Qian Guangxuan still found it hard to believe that someone could actually master the means of teleportation. Mo Qingyun was not surprised by Qian Guangxuan's question. He replied indifferently. The teleportation gate I used earlier was a special ability of mine. Normally, I would only use it in times of extreme danger. Hearing Mo Qingyun's answer, Qian Guangxuan showed a look of understanding and didn't ask anymore. He knew very well that it was already very rare for Mo Qingyun to be able to explain something as powerful as the teleportation gate to him. In the following time, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan chatted as they traveled east along the river. Several hours later, they arrived in front of a huge lake. At the side of the lake was an endless riverbed that emitted a monstrous demonic aura. This should be the Demon River. Let's go. Mo Qingyun didn't stop walking when they arrived in front of the Demon River. He instructed Qian Guangxuan before continuing onward. As Mo Qingyun walked towards the Demon River, he released his soul power to sense the location of the people from the two great immortal palaces. Mo Qingyun was in luck. He didn't walk far from the Demon River before he saw the people from the two great immortal palaces. Sorry to keep you waiting. When Mo Qingyun arrived in front of the two great immortal palaces, he had an apologetic expression on his face as he greeted the two great immortal palaces. Senior brothers, you're here. Liu Bing and Wang Hui smiled faintly when they saw Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan. They greeted Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan. Sun He and Shui Yue only nodded indifferently as a greeting to Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan. Li Yuanxiong and Yin Yu snorted and revealed arrogant expressions, expressing their dissatisfaction with Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan. Yin Yu said unhappily, "Since you know you've kept us waiting, why aren't you coming?" Junior sister Yin, don't be rude. Wang Hui scolded her sternly when she saw Yin Yu's behavior. She turned to Mo Qingyun and asked curiously, "Junior brother Mo, why haven't I seen junior brother Yuan Xie when the two of you are here?" Although Wang Hui could tell that Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan didn't have a good relationship with Yuan Xie, she still couldn't understand why Mo Qingyun and the other two had split up. More importantly, the first people to arrive here were actually Mo Qingyun and the other man with a lower cultivation base. This was somewhat abnormal. Liu Bing and the others were also curious when Wang Hui asked about Yuan Xie. They didn't understand why Yuan Xie hadn't arrived yet. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly when he saw the reaction of Wang Hui and the others. He explained, senior brother Yuan Xie ran into some elders of his clan on his way here. That's why he's been delayed. I see. Then we'll wait for him a little longer. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Wang Hui's face revealed a look of understanding as he spoke to everyone. Mo Qingyun and the others sat cross-legged in front of the demon river and adjusted their breathing as they waited for Yuan Xie to arrive. About 2 hours later, Yuan Xie finally arrived. Yuan Xie's face instantly turned cold when he saw Mo Qingyun with Lu Bing and the others. He radiated a strong, killing intent. Mo Qingyun had actually arrived before him. If that was the case, the three clans' plan to kill Mo Qingyun would probably be ruined again. Junior brother Yuan, you can't do this again. It's not good to make everyone wait for you. Qian Guangsun warned Yuan Xie with a mischievous smile on his face when he saw Yuan Xie hurrying over. Hearing Qian Guangsun's words, everyone turned to look at Yuan Xie, their expressions full of resentment. Yuan Xie was immediately displeased when he saw everyone's reaction. His hatred for Qian Guangsun grew even stronger. Qian Guangsun had tricked him and used this to make everyone unhappy with him. However, although Yuan Xie was furious, there was nothing he could do. He couldn't refute Qian Guangsun's words. There was nothing he could do. He had indeed arrived late and made everyone wait for him. I was delayed by some matters and made everyone wait for me. I'm really sorry. Yuan Xie suppressed his anger and cupped his hands at everyone with an apologetic expression. Wang Hui and the others looked a little better when they saw Yuan Xie's apology. They understood why Yuan Xie was late. Lu Bing glanced at everyone and said, "Since junior brother Yuan Xie is here, let's go to the Demon River." Chapter 1255. A gloomy and oppressive aura enveloped Mo Qingyun and the others as soon as they entered the Demon's Lake. The arrogance on Yin Yu's face disappeared under the gloomy and oppressive aura. It was gradually replaced by fear and panic. Although Wang Hui and Shui Yue did not show any fear, their expressions turned grave. Clearly, the aura of the Demon's Lake made them very uncomfortable. Junior brothers, the three junior sisters are all women. I think we should take care of them. Lu Bing expressed his thoughts when he saw the reactions of the three women. He suggested to everyone, Junior brother Sun He, Junior brother Li Yuanxiong, and I will lead the way. Junior sister Wang Hui, Junior sister Shui Yue, and Junior sister Yin Yu will walk in the middle. Junior brother Mo, you three will bring up the rear. What do you think? Sure. Mo Qingyun nodded indifferently in response to Lu Bing's suggestion. He felt that Lu Bing's suggestion was very reasonable. Lu Bing had volunteered to lead the way, which could be considered as setting an example. There was indeed nothing to be picky about. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had agreed, Yuan Xie naturally could not express his opinion. He could only agree with Lu Bing's suggestion. However, he was very unhappy that Mo Qingyun had to make the decision for him. Yuan Xie snorted coldly and glared at Mo Qingyun before walking to the back of the group. Mo Qingyun could only shrug his shoulders and reveal a helpless expression in response to Yuan Xie's action. Lu Bing and Wang Hui smiled helplessly when they saw Mo Qingyun's action. They understood Mo Qingyun's difficulties. They could tell that Yuan Xie had been making things difficult for Mo Qingyun, but Mo Qingyun had been letting him have his way. However, in Lu Bing's opinion, Mo Qingyun had been letting Yuan Xie have his way because his cultivation was not as high as Yuan Xie's. After all, in terms of performance, there was still a large gap between Mo Qingyun's cultivation and Yuan Xie's. After everyone reached a consensus, they continued forward, slowly venturing deeper into the Demon River. When Mo Qingyun and the others entered the depths of the Demon River, several elders of the Yuan family, Yin family, and Hunter Change family arrived at the entrance of the Demon River. Elder Yuan Tainan, should we enter the Devil's Lake? The elder of the Yin family, Yin Shixuan, asked solemnly as he looked at the Demon River before him. Yuan Tainan went silent after hearing Yin Shixuan's question. He was hesitating whether he should enter the Devil River or not. After pondering for a moment, Yuan Tainan made a decision in his heart and said coldly, "The Devil River is filled with devil qi, and it's a great hindrance to soul strength. It'll make it very difficult for Mo Qingyun and the others to discover our existence. At that time, I'll be able to find a suitable opportunity to kill Mo Qingyun with a single strike. Since that's the case, let's enter the Devil's Lake. Hearing Yuan Tianan's analysis, the elder of the Hundred Faces family, Hundred Faces Hong Kun, suggested with an anxious expression. Immediately after, Yuan Tainan and the others led their family members and entered the Devil's Lake. Inside the Devil's Lake, as they went deeper into the Devil's Lake, the ground became more and more damp, and the slope became more and more steep. If nothing goes wrong, we will soon enter the ancient God tribe's abyss if we continue like this. Looking at the steep slope in front of him, Lu Bing had a serious expression as he analyzed to Mo Qingyun and the others behind him. Puff, puff, puff. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun and the others continued to move forward, several streams of water suddenly shot out from the ground. After these streams of water shot out, they turned into 1-meter-long icicles that shot towards Mo Qingyun and the others in a domineering manner. Chi, chi, chi. As the streams of water appeared too suddenly and the attack was too close, Lu Bing and the others had no time to dodge. Not long after, Lu Bing and the other two were pierced with hideous wounds. Scorching Sun, seeing the icicles coming towards him, Mo Qingyun quickly released the Scorching Sun shield, enveloping him and Qian Guang's son within it. Then, a terrifying flame energy was emitted from Mo Qingyun's body. Under the impact of this flame power, the ice spikes that were attacking him at an extremely fast speed were instantly incinerated into mist. What a powerful defensive technique. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Lu Bing and the others were shocked, and they began to look at Mo Qingyun in a new light. At this moment, they realized that this junior brother Mo, who didn't seem to have a high cultivation, seemed to have some extraordinary aspects. Boom, boom, boom. Just as Lu Bing and the others were shocked by Mo Qingyun's technique, the ground by the river suddenly shook violently. Then, a bottomless crack appeared on the ground below Mo Qingyun and the others. Seeing the crack under his feet, Mo Qingyun released his soul power to sense the situation below. After sensing for a while, Mo Qingyun's expression became serious, and he quickly reminded the people around him, "Everyone, retreat quickly. There are many god race below the crack, and they are approaching us." Nonsense, do you need to say that? Even a fool knows that this is the god race's attack. In response to Mo Qingyun's kind reminder, Li Yuanxiong curled his lips in disdain, and he didn't appreciate Mo Qingyun's kindness at all. Seeing Li Yuanxiong's attitude, Mo Qingyun ignored him and retreated with Qian Guang's son, saying, "Senior brother Qian, the number of god races attack is too many. You must not leave me later." Mo Qingyun was already certain that once they were besieged by the god race, they would definitely be defeated and separated. Therefore, he reminded Qian Guang's son in advance, so that Qian Guang's son would not be separated from him. Now that the Yuan family, the Yun family, and the Baibian family had sent people here, if Qian Guang's son was separated from him, he would be in danger if he encountered the people of the three major families. Okay. Hearing Mo Qingyun's reminder, Qian Guang's son nodded and retreated with Mo Qingyun. When Mo Qingyun and the others retreated, huge silver-gray figures jumped out from the crack in the ground. Behind each of these figures was a huge silver shell. They looked like muscles that had gained sentience. These clam god race's strength was not weak. Each of them had reached the immortal fog stage, and the strongest few had reached the immortal dew stage. Of course, the most important thing was that there were too many of them, and it was not an exaggeration to say that there were thousands of them. In the face of such a lineup, even with the cultivation of Lu Bing and the others, the only choice was to escape. Frost Clam God Race. Looking at the Clam God Race in front of him, Lu Bing's expression was immediately shocked, revealing a strong sense of horror. This was the Frost Clam God Race, the strangest clan of the Clam God Race. Not only did they have a strong defense, but they also had a terrifying lethality and devouring power. Chapter 1256. Everyone retreat. These frosty fiend clan men are not something we can handle. Looking at the thousands of frosty fiend clan men in front of him, Liu Bing had an anxious expression as he loudly reminded Mo Qingyun and the rest. After Liu Bing finished his words, he no longer hesitated as he hurriedly turned around and retreated. Seeing Liu Bing turn around and run for his life, the others did not stay any longer and all fled into the distance. Seeing that Mo Qingyun and the rest had started to flee, the Frosty Fiend clan men did not stop and quickly chased after Mo Qingyun and the rest. As the Frosty Fiend clan men chased after Mo Qingyun and the rest, they continuously released icicles to attack Mo Qingyun and the rest who were escaping. In an instant, slender icicles formed above Mo Qingyun and the rest and rained down on them. Under the attack of the icicles, Mo Qingyun and the rest were quickly separated and fled in different directions. As they were not familiar with the surroundings, Wang Hui and the other two ladies quickly reached a dead end and had no choice but to retreat. When Wang Hui and the other two ladies turned back, the Frosty Fiend clan men had caught up and blocked their path. Then, Wang Hui and the other two ladies were surrounded by the Frosty Fiend clan men and fell into a perilous situation. PFFF, facing the attacks of hundreds and thousands of Frosty Fiend clan men, Yin Yu's arm was quickly injured and her face was filled with intense fear. Were they going to die here today? At this moment, not only Yin Yu, but Wang Hui and the other two ladies also tensed up when faced with such a situation. They knew very well that if no one came to save them, they would definitely die here today. This was because there were too many Frosty Fiend clan men surrounding them. Sooner or later, the three of them would exhaust their spiritual energy. Once the spiritual energy in their bodies was exhausted, what awaited them would be the merciless slaughter of the Frosty Fiend clan men. Just as Wang Hui and the other two ladies were being surrounded, Mo Qingyun noticed the situation and frowned slightly. To save them or not to save them? Senior brother Qian, let's go and help them. Mo Qingyun hesitated for a moment before deciding to help Wang Hui and the other two girls. He couldn't bear to see the three of them die. Then, Mo Qingyun took out the immortal incineration battle halberd and rushed toward Wang Hui and the other two women. Heavenly Flames, sky-breaking halberd. Mo Qingyun immediately brandished his immortal burning battle halberd towards the Frost Devil clan men blocking his way, and slashed towards them in a domineering manner. As Mo Qingyun swung his halberd, 1,000-meter-long fire dragon halberd radiance swept towards the frosty, fiendish clan man like a tornado. Bang, bang, bang. Under the tyrannical impact of the fire dragon halberd light, the Frost Devil clan men blocking the way were immediately sent flying, opening a path for Mo Qingyun. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun did not stop and rushed forward with Qian Guangxuan. Just like that, after several breakthroughs by Mo Qingyun and the other two, they arrived beside Wang Hui and the other two women. Junior brother Mo. Seeing the arrival of Mo Qingyun and the other two women, Wang Hui and the other two women were pleasantly surprised. Their expressions were filled with gratitude. At this critical moment, Mo Qingyun had stepped forward bravely to save the three of them. This was simply too touching. Senior sister Wang Hui, the three of you retreat first. Senior brother Qian and I will bring up the rear. Before Wang Hui and the other two women could express their gratitude, Mo Qingyun revealed a solemn expression and instructed the three of them. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he and Qian Guangxuan attacked the frosty, fiendish clan men that were besieging them. Then, another 1,000-meter-long fire dragon halberd radiance surged out from the immortal incineration battle halberd and blasted towards the frosty, fiendish clan men, stopping them in their tracks. Junior brother Mo, thank you. Seeing that the frosty, fiendish clan men had been stopped, Wang Hui and the other two women silently thanked Mo Qingyun and quickly retreated. However, Wang Hui and the other two women hadn't gone far before they were targeted by another wave of frosty, fiendish clan men that quickly surrounded them. Seeing the situation that Wang Hui and the other two women were in, Mo Qingyun hurriedly waved his left fist and blasted it towards the wave of frosty, fiendish clam men. Heaven, soul, heaven, sealing fist. Under Mo Qingyun's punch, a gigantic silvery fist shadow rapidly formed above the frosty, fiendish clam men. Then, the gigantic silvery fist shadow blasted towards the frosty, fiendish clam men below. Bang! The gigantic silvery fist landed with a deafening bang and transformed into a gigantic silver light shield. After the silver light shield was formed, it enveloped the group of frosty, fiendish clam men and trapped them within the light shield. Seeing that the frosty, fiendish clam men that were besieging them had been stopped, Wang Hui and the other two women glanced at Mo Qingyun and continued to escape. Senior brother Qian, let's retreat too. After a short while, seeing that Wang Hui and the other two women had completely escaped, Mo Qingyun didn't want to stay any longer. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Guangsun nodded in response and quickly followed Mo Qingyun into the distance. While Qian Guangsun and Mo Qingyun were escaping, the way he looked at Mo Qingyun had changed drastically. Junior brother Mo is too strong. Thinking back to how Mo Qingyun had crushed the frosty, fiendish clam men that had besieged them, Qian Guangsun was extremely shocked. At this moment, he finally understood why Mo Qingyun had been able to kill so many iron earthworms during the Iron Earthworm Tribe's test. What Qian Guangsun didn't know was that when Mo Qingyun had attacked just now, he had actually held back some of his strength. If Mo Qingyun wanted to, he could have slaughtered all the frosty, fiendish clam men. However, in Mo Qingyun's opinion, even if he killed all the frosty, fiendish clam men, he wouldn't gain anything. Not only that, but he would also expose some of his trump cards. This wasn't something he wanted to see. In this way, since it was a thankless task, why should Mo Qingyun look for trouble? About 15 minutes later, with Mo Qingyun's domineering breakthrough, he and Qian Guangsun finally broke free from the pursuit of the frosty, fiendish clam men. Junior brother Mo, what should we do next? Seeing that they had broken free from the pursuit of the frosty, fiendish clam men, Qian Guangsun asked for Mo Qingyun's opinion. Throughout this journey, Qian Guangsun was already used to following Mo Qingyun's arrangements. Since we're here to investigate the ancient god tribe's abyss, we naturally have to enter the interior of the demon river Luo. Hearing Qian Guangsun's question, Mo Qingyun replied without hesitation. Then, he walked toward the interior of the demon river Luo and said, "Now that we've finally gotten rid of Yuan Xie, this is the best time to enter the demon river Luo. Let's go in first." All right. Chapter 12:57. When Mo Qingyun entered the depths of the magic river Luo, Yuan Xie had also escaped from the pursuit of the fiend Frost Clan people with the help of Yuan Tainan and the others. Granduncle, what do we do now? Should we continue to pursue Mo Qingyun by the Luo River? Thinking back to the large group of fiend Frost Clan people, Yuan Xie showed lingering fear and asked Yuan Tainan about his plans. Yuan Xie's thoughts were very simple. If Yuan Tainan and the others didn't enter the magic river Luo, he definitely wouldn't enter the magic river Luo either. In his opinion, the magic river Luo was just too dangerous. It wasn't a place he could enter easily. They had encountered large numbers of fiend Frost Clan people before even entering the abyss of the Primordial God Clan. If he entered the abyss of the Primordial God Clan, he might encounter even more terrifying gods. Hearing Yuan Xie's question, Yuan Tainan revealed a hesitant expression. He was considering whether or not to enter the magic river Luo. Although the pursuit of Mo Qingyun was very important, the magic river Luo was just too dangerous. The consequences would be unpredictable if they entered rashly. After a short while, Yuan Tainan finally made up his mind after some hesitation. He said in a deep voice, "This Mo Qingyun is growing too quickly. We can't give him the time to grow. We need to get rid of him as soon as possible. Otherwise, we won't be able to eat or sleep in peace." Thinking back to what Yuan Xie had told him about Mo Qingyun, Yuan Tainan felt a sense of urgency. He desperately wanted to get rid of Mo Qingyun as soon as possible. That's right. If Mo Qingyun hides in the magic river Luo and cultivates, it'll be troublesome. With our combined strength, we won't be in too much danger even if we encounter the fiend Frost Clan people. Let's continue into the magic river Luo. Hearing Yuan Tianan's plan, Yin Shursun and the others all nodded in agreement. It was just as Yuan Tainan had said. Mo Qingyun was growing too quickly. They couldn't let him continue to grow. After Yuan Tainan and the others finished their discussion, they didn't waste any more time and entered the magic river Luo again. Seeing Yuan Tainan enter the Devil River again, Yuan Xie revealed a dark expression and entered the Devil River with everyone else. At this moment, Li Yuanxiong, Wang Hui, and the others met on the other side of the Luo River. Junior sister Wang Hui, are you all right? After meeting Wang Hui and the other two girls, Lu Bing asked them out of concern, "Where's junior marshal brother Mo and the others? Didn't he escape with you?" "No." Wang Hui shook her head and looked worriedly at the demon river Luo. She said in a low voice, "Junior Mo hasn't appeared since he rescued the three of us. I'm worried that he's been trapped by the Frost Clan person." "Junior brother Mo saved you guys?" Hearing Wang Hui's answer, Lu Bing and the other two were surprised. They had never thought of such a situation. They had always thought that Mo Qingyun was the weakest among the 9 of them. Now that Mo Qingyun had saved Wang Hui and the other two girls, they were indeed surprised. Senior brother Lu Bing, junior marshal brother Mo, still hasn't come out. I'm very worried that he's in danger. I've decided to enter the magic river Luo to take a look. After conversing with Lu Bing and the others, Wang Hui revealed a worried expression and decided to enter the magic river Luo again. Seeing Wang Hui's actions, Lu Bing revealed a solemn expression and advised Wang Hui, "Junior sister Wang Hui, there are too many Frost Clan person. Junior marshal brother Mo still hasn't come out. It's very likely that he's already died at the hands of the Frost Clan person. Even if you go in to find him now, it's useless. I think we should all return to the Immortal Palace." "Oomph. You overestimated yourself. You don't have the ability to save the damsel in distress. You deserve to die." Hearing Wang Hui and the others' conversation, Li Yuanxiong revealed a sinister smile and took pleasure in their misfortune. Seeing Li Yuanxiong's actions, Wang Hui and the other two girls immediately showed displeasure and looked at Li Yuanxiong with hatred. Seeing the 3 girls' reaction, Lu Bing couldn't help but be stunned. He looked at Mo Qingyun's position in their hearts. Immediately, Lu Bing revealed an apologetic smile and hurriedly said to Wang Hui and the other 2 girls, "Junior sisters, don't be angry. Junior marshal brother Li didn't mean that. Since that's the case, we'll accompany you to find junior marshal brother Mo and the others." "Thank you, senior marshal brother Lu." Hearing Lu Bing's words, Wang Hui and the other 2 girls cupped their hands and thanked Lu Bing. In their opinion, with Lu Bing and the other 2 accompanying them, the 3 of them would be safer. After Wang Hui and the others reached an agreement, they once again entered the magic river Luo. Along the way, they looked for Mo Qingyun and rushed towards the ancient god race's abyss. With their previous experience with the Frost Clan person, Wang Hui and the others were much more careful now. Following that, with Wang Hui and the others carefully rushing, they easily avoided the Frost Clan person and arrived at the depths of the magic river Luo. Of course, along the way, Wang Hui and the others also encountered some small trouble and encountered many other water gods. However, the strength of these water gods was far inferior to the Frost Clan person and didn't pose much of a threat to them. As the group advanced towards the depths of the magic river Luo, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan walked all the way and arrived at a huge space of ruins. This should be the so-called ancient god race's abyss. After entering the ruins, Mo Qingyun looked around and gained some understanding of the ruins. Rather than calling it a ruin, it was more appropriate to call it an independent space of a battlefield. What entered their eyes was a mess caused by battle. Ancient buildings collapsed on the ground. Beside these ancient buildings, there were many corpses. Some belonged to the god race, and some belonged to the immortal race. Although a long time had passed, Mo Qingyun could sense that these corpses were very strong when they were alive. They were at least at the immortal infant stage and above. Let's go in and take a look. After glancing at the battlefield in front of him, Mo Qingyun instructed Qian Guangxuan and walked into the depths of the battlefield. Mo Qingyun was now wondering if there were any magic treasures or legacies left behind in this ancient battlefield. As Mo Qingyun went deeper into the battlefield, a strange feeling suddenly arose in his heart. It was as if he was being spied on by something. This feeling made Mo Qingyun very uncomfortable. It gave him a strong sense of unease, as if he had entered a trap. Immediately, Mo Qingyun stopped moving forward and looked around with a tense expression. He wanted to find where the thing that was spying on him was. After sensing for a while, Mo Qingyun found where it was. It was something similar to a crabman. The battle crabman. Seeing the crabman in front of him, Qian Guangxuan was shocked. He recognized the crabman. Chapter 1258. The battle crab clansman in front of them not only had the appearance of a human and a crab, but also a pair of bird wings. Coldly glancing at Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan, the battle crab clansman flapped the wings on his back and quickly arrived above Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan. Arriving above Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan, the battle crab clansman waved his two large pincers and blasted out two astonishing spiritual energies. These two terrifying spiritual energies gushed out and turned into two huge crab pincers, attacking Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan. Heavenly Flame's sky-breaking halberd. Facing the bombardment of the huge crab pincers, Mo Qingyun immediately took out the immortal burning halberd and swept it towards the pincers. A 1,000-meter-long flaming dragon burst out from the immortal burning halberd and collided with the huge crab pincers. Bang! With a loud sound, the flaming dragon and the huge crab pincers exploded in midair. Soon after, a terrifying yuan power storm swiftly formed in midair and swept towards the surroundings in an overbearing manner. Under the impact of this elemental energy storm, Mo Qingyun and the battle crab clansmen retreated to avoid being engulfed by this elemental energy storm. After avoiding the elemental energy storm, Mo Qingyun did not stop and continued to attack the battle crab clansmen. Golden Snake flashing halberd. After Mo Qingyun waved his halberd, his figure disappeared as if he had never appeared. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, the battle crab clansman raised his large pincers and looked around nervously. Even so, when Mo Qingyun stabbed him with his halberd, he did not have time to block. Crack! With a crisp sound, the battle crab clansman's carapace was directly pierced through by Mo Qingyun. After the immortal burning halberd destroyed the battle crab clansman's carapace, Mo Qingyun's hands did not stop moving and stabbed the immortal burning halberd into the battle crab clansman's body. Then, the immortal burning battle halberd pierced through the body of the battle crab tribesmen, skewering them like barbecued crabs. However, this battle crab race member was an immortal dew stage powerhouse. Even if he suffered such a heavy injury, he was still not directly killed by Mo Qingyun. No, don't kill me. Seeing his body being pierced by the immortal burning halberd, the battle crab tribesman waved his pincers and begged Mo Qingyun for mercy. Seeing the reaction of the battle crab, Mo Qingyun hesitated for a moment before asking the battle crab, "I can spare your life, but you have to answer my question honestly. As long as you don't kill me, I will definitely answer you truthfully." Seeing that Mo Qingyun was prepared to spare his life, the battle crab tribesman was pleasantly surprised and quickly nodded to Mo Qingyun. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and asked the battle crab tribesman, "Tell me, what's with the wings on your back? Also, is there any dark devil race in this battlefield space?" Replying to the immortal, "The reason why I can grow wings on my back is because I have received a bloodline transformation." Regarding Mo Qingyun's question, the battle crab tribesman answered truthfully. Then he pointed to the north of the battlefield space and said, In the north of the battlefield space, there is a Dark Devil race's hematopoietic base. There are some broken hematopoietic pools that can transform the bloodline of cultivators. Bloodline transformation? Hearing the words of the battle crab tribesman, Mo Qingyun suddenly showed surprise, and curiosity arose in his heart. He ordered the battle crab tribesman, "Take me to the hematopoietic base immediately. When you take me to the hematopoietic base, you can leave." Yes. Hearing the request of Mo Qingyun, the battle crab tribesman no longer hesitated and immediately took Mo Qingyun to the hematopoietic base. The hematopoietic base was located in the deepest part of this battlefield space. It was the lair of the Dark Devil race that once lived here. As they got closer to the hematopoietic base, Mo Qingyun found that the surrounding scene became more and more tragic and messy. If one looked carefully, they would find that in addition to the collapse of the surrounding houses, there were even some small cracks in the space. After a short while, under the guidance of the battle crab tribesman, Mo Qingyun came to a huge fortress. Standing in front of this fortress, Mo Qingyun could clearly feel a strong bloodline power permeating the fortress. Immortal, this is the hematopoietic base. Standing in front of this huge fortress, the battle crab tribesman showed a respectful expression and pointed to the fortress in front of him. Hearing the words of the battle crab tribesman, Mo Qingyun nodded with satisfaction and asked in a deep voice, "Is there any divine race entrenched in this hematopoietic base now?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, the battle crab tribesman immediately showed a look of awe. His expression became tense, and he said, "Immortal, the hematopoietic base is now occupied by the Dark Fire Tiger. The bloodline power in the Dark Fire Tiger's body has been transformed into the bloodline of the 10th generation Fire Tiger. Although the transformation is only 60% successful, its strength is still very strong. If you encounter it, you must be careful." The 10th generation bloodline. Hearing the words of the battle crab clansman, Mo Qingyun revealed a puzzled expression and asked, "Tell me, what is the 10th generation bloodline?" "Yes." Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, the battle crab tribesman did not dare to show the slightest neglect and hurriedly said with a serious expression, "Whether it is the divine race or the immortal race, as long as their cultivation reaches the realm of primordial unity, golden immortal, they can comprehend the power of the great path and integrate it into their bloodline to pass on to their descendants. Their children are the 2nd generation bloodline, and so on." "I see." Hearing the battle crab tribesman's explanation, Mo Qingyun understood in his heart. He pondered for a moment and said, "By the way, how is the strength of the Dark Fire Tiger? Has it entered the realm of true immortals?" "Immortal, I don't know the specific strength of the Dark Fire Tiger, but I am sure of one thing. Its cultivation has definitely not entered the realm of true immortals." Hearing Mo Qingyun ask about the strength of the Dark Fire Tiger, the battle crab tribesman once again answered truthfully, not daring to hide anything from Mo Qingyun. At this point, the battle crab tribesman hesitated for a moment, then said to Mo Qingyun, "In addition, there are now many immortal infant stage and immortal core stage subordinates around the Dark Fire Tiger. They should not be underestimated. It seems that if I want to enter this blood-producing base, I have to be very careful." After listening to the battle crab tribesman's explanation, Mo Qingyun knew what to do next. Seeing that he had asked most of the questions, Mo Qingyun no longer detained the battle crab tribesman. He waved his hand impatiently and said, "Well, there's nothing for you to do here. You can leave now. Thank you for not killing me, immortal." Chapter 1259. Junior Brother Mo, are we really going in? Qian Guangxuan asked worriedly after learning about the situation in the hematopoietic base. He wanted to persuade Mo Qingyun not to go in. In his opinion, the hematopoietic base was too dangerous for him and Mo Qingyun to enter. Mo Qingyun knew what Qian Guangxuan was thinking. Qian Guangxuan was worried about what they would do if they encountered the Dark Fire, Jiao Tiger. However, since they were already at the entrance of the hematopoietic base, Mo Qingyun was unwilling to leave just like that. Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment before he told Qian Guangxuan, "Senior brother Qian, this hematopoietic base is very dangerous. It's not safe for you to go in with me. Why don't you wait for me outside the hematopoietic base, and I'll go in alone?" "No." Qian Guangxuan immediately shook his head and refused Mo Qingyun's suggestion. He objected to Mo Qingyun's suggestion. Although he knew that Mo Qingyun was very strong, Qian Guangxuan did not believe that Mo Qingyun would be able to fight against the Dark Fire, Jiao Tiger. Moreover, there were many immortal core and immortal infant stage experts around the Dark Fire Jiao Tiger. Mo Qingyun was not surprised by Qian Guangxuan's attitude. He smiled faintly at Qian Guangxuan and said, "Senior brother Qian, don't worry. Since I've decided to go in and explore, I naturally have a way to protect myself. Do you think I'm going to throw my life away?" Qian Guangxuan stopped trying to persuade Mo Qingyun when he saw that Mo Qingyun was determined. He knew that he could not persuade Mo Qingyun otherwise. However, Qian Guangxuan did not plan to go with Mo Qingyun. Instead, he agreed with Mo Qingyun's previous suggestion. He knew that with his current strength, he would only be a burden to Mo Qingyun if he entered the hematopoietic base with Mo Qingyun. Immediately after, Qian Guangxuan put on a serious expression and pointed at a collapsed tower not far away, saying, "In that case, I will wait for you in that tower. When you come out of the hematopoietic base, you can go there to find me." "Okay." Seeing Qian Guangxuan agree to his suggestion, Mo Qingyun smiled with satisfaction and agreed with Qian Guangxuan's decision. After discussing with Mo Qingyun, Qian Guangxuan no longer hesitated and flew toward the collapsed city tower in front of him. Seeing that Qian Guangxuan was heading towards the collapsed city tower, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time and started walking towards the hematopoietic base. Hidden door. When Mo Qingyun entered the hematopoietic base, he used the invisibility door and prepared to hide himself. Then a transparent mini door of light condensed in front of Mo Qingyun, enveloping him within. Mo Qingyun slowly became transparent as the transparent door of light enveloped him. In the end, he completely disappeared from where he was. After a short while, Mo Qingyun entered the hematopoietic base. He sensed a dense, vital energy envelop him. The heavenly soul demon bloodline in Mo Qingyun's body throbbed as he was enveloped by this bloody aura. I never thought that the bloodline power in the hematopoietic base could resonate with the heavenly soul demon bloodline. Mo Qingyun was immediately surprised when he sensed the heavenly soul demon bloodline's activity. His face became tense. Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He hurriedly suppressed the restless heavenly soul demon bloodline. Although the concealment door could hide his figure and aura, it could not suppress the restless heavenly soul demon bloodline. If he did not suppress his heavenly soul demon bloodline, it was extremely likely that the dark fire serpent tiger would discover him. He had entered the hematopoietic base for two reasons. Firstly, he wanted to see the terrain of the base. Secondly, he wanted to try his luck and see if there were any benefits he could obtain. Therefore, Mo Qingyun did not want to expose himself unless it was absolutely necessary. He did not want to confront the dark fire serpent tiger head-on. Under Mo Qingyun's full suppression, the restless heavenly soul demon bloodline in his body was quickly suppressed. After suppressing the restless heavenly soul demon bloodline, Mo Qingyun did not stop. He continued to walk into the hematopoietic base. Soon, two protoss with the head of a lion and the body of a human appeared in front of Mo Qingyun. These two protoss with the head of a lion and the body of a human were very powerful. They had both reached the late stage of the immortal Du realm. They were much more powerful than Luha. However, these two powerful existences could only be reduced to gatekeepers in this hematopoietic base. It could be seen that the dark fire serpent tiger was not simple. However, Mo Qingyun did not retreat because of this. Instead, he continued to rush into the hematopoietic base. Moreover, looking at these powerful protoss, Mo Qingyun became more and more curious about the hematopoietic base. Then, as Mo Qingyun continued to go deeper, one after another, protoss with strange appearances appeared in front of him. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun went deeper into the hematopoietic base, Yuan Tainan and the others also arrived at the battlefield. This should be the abyss of the primordial protoss. When they arrived at the battlefield, Yuan Tainan and the others had serious expressions. They looked around the interior of the battlefield. Yuan Tainan and the rest revealed a cold smile as they observed the interior of the battlefield. They revealed an extremely pleased expression as they said, "If my guess is correct, this should be an undiscovered ancient remains. There might be quite a number of treasures here. Looks like I've made the right choice in coming here. In that case, we have to thank Mo Qingyun. Haha, if that's the case, when we meet Mo Qingyun, we'll give him a quick death." No, I think that in order to express our gratitude to Mo Qingyun, we should torture him properly. At this moment, Yin Shursun and the others sneered. It was as if they had found a treasure and captured Mo Qingyun. Then, Yuan Tainan and the others did not hesitate. They began to rush into the interior of the battlefield. Mo Qingyun, when I get the treasures in the battlefield, you'll see how I'll kill you. As they went deeper into the battlefield, Yuan Xie smiled coldly. He felt a sense of pride in his heart. Not long after Yuan Tainan and the others arrived at the battlefield, Liu Bing and the others also arrived. They all looked around in surprise. Looking at the battlefield in front of him, Liu Bing had a solemn expression. He said to the people around him in a deep voice, "If I'm not mistaken, this is the abyss of the primordial god tribe. Since we didn't meet junior brother Mo on the way, he should have come here. Yes, if that's the case, let's split up and look for junior brother Mo." Chapter 1260. Although they hadn't met Mo Qingyun along the way, they couldn't be sure that Mo Qingyun was here. Therefore, before they found Mo Qingyun, their hearts were in suspense. In Wang Hui's opinion, no matter what, Mo Qingyun had fallen into such a dangerous situation in order to save the three of them. All right, in that case, let's split up and search for junior brother Mo and the others. Liu Bing nodded in agreement when he heard Wang Hui's thoughts. He pondered for a moment before saying, "Also, regardless of the results of the search, we'll gather here in half a month." All right. Everyone nodded in agreement with Liu Bing's suggestion. They felt that Liu Bing's consideration was right. Under normal circumstances, if they couldn't find Mo Qingyun in half a month, even if they continued searching, their chances of finding him would be very slim. Following that, Liu Bing and the others had a simple discussion before they split up. In the blood-producing base. After walking around the blood-producing base for 15 minutes, Mo Qingyun arrived at an altar. There were many pools of different sizes here. Beside each pool, there was a small stone tablet with different words written on it. Blood of the Snail Clan, Fire Spirit Horse Clan, Rainbow Fox Clan. As he got closer, Mo Qingyun discovered that the handwriting on the stone tablets introduced the origins of the blood in the pools. So the blood in these pools is the blood of the various clans of the primordial era. After seeing the handwriting on the stone tablets, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer. He quickly walked towards the interior of the altar. As Mo Qingyun walked towards the interior of the altar, he discovered that many of the pools were empty. It seemed like the blood in them had been refined. After a while, as Mo Qingyun continued to walk deeper, he finally saw some of the pools and some of the blood of the primordial era's god clan. It seemed like the bloodline power that Mo Qingyun had since came from these pools. Glancing at the pool of blood, Mo Qingyun didn't stop and continued walking towards the depths of the altar. As he went deeper into the altar, Mo Qingyun could clearly feel that the bloodline power in the pool had become stronger. It seemed that the blood in these ponds should be from the bloodlines of more powerful primordial races. Nine-tailed Fox Clan. At this moment, the words on a stone tablet attracted Mo Qingyun's attention. Unfortunately, the pool with the nine-tailed Fox Clan's bloodline was now empty. Mo Qingyun frowned as he stared at the empty pool. He thought to himself, I wonder if there's any blood from the three-eyed demon or the heavenly soul demon in this altar. If there is, it might be of some help to my cultivation. As soon as this thought appeared in Mo Qingyun's head, he looked towards the interior of the altar and glanced at the stone tablets beside the pools. As Mo Qingyun scanned the stone tablet, a bold idea suddenly popped into his mind. He was pleasantly surprised as he said, "The blood in these pools comes from experts of various races in the untainted universe. I can let Mo Zai refine it to improve her cultivation." Without any hesitation, Mo Qingyun began to collect the blood in the pools. However, as Mo Qingyun collected the blood, he discovered that it wasn't easy. This was because an expert had set up a barrier around each pool of blood. If he wanted to obtain the blood in the pools, he had to destroy the barriers. As a result, he had to destroy the barriers if he wanted to collect the blood in the pools. Mo Qingyun could not help but frown when he saw this. He thought about what to do next. He knew very well that as soon as he attacked the barriers outside the pools, he would attract the attention of the dark fire serpent tiger. After some thought, Mo Qingyun decided not to collect the blood for now. He continued to look around the altar for a while. 15 minutes later, Mo Qingyun arrived at the deepest part of the altar. Unfortunately, Mo Qingyun didn't find the blood of the heavenly soul demons even after searching the entire altar. Mo Qingyun saw a strange formation in the deepest part of the altar. It radiated with a strange power. After seeing this array formation, Mo Qingyun's expression turned solemn as he carefully sized it up. After studying it for a while, Mo Qingyun had a rough understanding of the use of this strange formation. If his guess was correct, this strange formation should be used to modify one's bloodline. After studying the strange formation, Mo Qingyun no longer paid any attention to it. He had no use for it anyway. Firstly, there was no blood more powerful than the heavenly soul demons in the altar. Secondly, he had no chance to activate the formation to modify the blood. After seeing this result, Mo Qingyun did not think too much about it. He prepared to collect the blood. After some consideration, Mo Qingyun chose the blood of the petrifying dragon lizard clan. He was ready to collect it. Since he had made his decision, Mo Qingyun did not think too much about it. He directly attacked the barrier outside the blood pool. Bang, bang, bang. Under Mo Qingyun's domineering attacks, clear cracks appeared on the barrier that contained the petrifying dragon lizard clan's blood. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun's expression became serious, and a sense of urgency arose in his heart. He knew very well that he had attracted the attention of the dark fire serpent tiger by making such a big commotion. Therefore, he had to seize the opportunity to destroy the barrier outside the blood pool before the dark fire serpent tiger arrived. Who is so bold to come to my Xiao Honghu's territory to cause trouble? Just as Mo Qingyun was feeling anxious, a furious, thunderous voice came from outside the altar, following which an aura that made one's heart tremble also approached from outside the altar. Quick, quick, quick! Sensing this terrifying aura approaching, Mo Qingyun's face immediately revealed an anxious expression, and he became extremely anxious in his heart. The dark fire serpent tiger had found him. It seemed that he had to speed up. Otherwise, all his previous efforts would be in vain. Soon after, Mo Qingyun's attacks became even more ferocious, and the impact on the barrier became even more intense. Patter! Hard work paid off. Under Mo Qingyun's continuous attacks, the barrier of the pool was finally destroyed. Collect. Seeing the barrier of the blood pool being destroyed, Mo Qingyun immediately urged the five-direction small tower to collect the blood in the pool. Soon, the petrifying dragon lizard clan's blood in the pool was collected into the five-direction small tower. In just a blink of an eye, the pool of petrifying dragon lizard clan's blood was emptied by Mo Qingyun. After collecting the petrifying dragon lizard clan's blood, Mo Qingyun did not stop. He used the invisible door again. Then, Mo Qingyun's figure disappeared as if he had never appeared. Chapter 1261. Among the figures that came to the altar, The leader was a burly man with the body of a tiger beast. He should be the dark fire dragon tiger. The dark fire dragon tiger stood at the entrance of the altar, exuding an aura close to the true immortal realm. He stared at the altar with wide eyes. Roar! After looking around, the dark fire serpent tiger's expression became ferocious. It roared at the altar. Where did you come from? How dare you touch my Xiao Honghu's things? Come out obediently. At Xiao Honghu's roar, a powerful golden sound wave was emitted from his tiger mouth. Under the impact of the sound wave, the space inside the altar immediately trembled as if it could not bear the impact of the sound wave. What a powerful sound wave! Looking at the sound wave that was rapidly approaching, Mo Qingyun's expression became solemn, and he was secretly shocked. Immediately, Mo Qingyun took out the Five Directions tower and hid in it to avoid the impact of the powerful sound wave. After avoiding the impact of the sound wave, Mo Qingyun moved again and returned to the altar from the Five Directions tower. Mo Qingyun's move was very fast, and he was very careful, so he was not discovered by Xiao Honghu. Seeing that the altar was still calm after the sound wave attack, Xiao Honghu's expression became even more ferocious. Could it be that the thief had already escaped? With this thought in mind, Xiao Honghu's expression became twisted. He gnashed his teeth and said, "The thief must have not escaped far. Go and seal the entire fortress immediately. Don't let the thief escape." Yes. Hearing Xiao Honghu's order, the subordinates behind him all left the altar in a flash. After these people left, Xiao Honghu revealed an unwilling expression and glanced at the altar again. However, the result was the same. The altar was still calm, and there was nothing unusual or wrong. Humph! No matter who you are, since you dare to touch my Xiao Honghu's things, I will tear you to pieces. Seeing that the altar was still calm, Xiao Honghu said unresigned and turned to leave the altar. After Xiao Honghu left the altar, he set up a barrier around the altar to prevent the thieves from leaving. Seeing Xiao Honghu and the others leave, Mo Qingyun's expression relaxed a lot. The crisis in front of him had finally been resolved. Seeing that the crisis before him had been resolved, Mo Qingyun glanced at the blood pool around him, and a trace of regret appeared on his face. Judging from the current situation, it would be impossible for him to steal more blood. Now that Xiao Honghu and the others were on guard, they would rush over as soon as something happened in the altar, not giving Mo Qingyun the slightest chance to make a move. Looks like I can only come back in the future. Mo Qingyun sighed. He didn't linger any longer. He got up and walked out of the altar. Although there was some regret in his heart, Mo Qingyun did not care too much about it. All in all, he had gained quite a lot from this trip to the blood-producing fortress. A portal. When he arrived at the exit of the altar, Mo Qingyun cast a portal and easily passed through the barrier set up by Xiao Honghu. When Mo Qingyun left the altar, a 7-colored light screen formed above the fortress, sealing the entire fortress within. Seeing the formation above the fortress, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly. He secretly lamented that the defense of the blood-producing base was too tight. If it weren't for the hidden door and the portal, he might not have been able to leave today. Mo Qingyun sighed in his heart. He cast a portal again and left the blood-producing fortress. When Mo Qingyun left the blood-producing fortress, Yuan Xie and the others came to the dilapidated city tower and saw Qian Guangxuan in the dilapidated city tower. Qian Guangxuan. Yuan Xie was surprised to see Qian Guangxuan in the dilapidated city tower. He did not expect to meet Qian Guangxuan here. It was really a case of traveling far and wide in search of something, only to find it by chance. Yuan Xie. When he saw Yuan Xie and the others, Qian Guangxuan was also surprised. His expression instantly tensed up. He really did not expect that Yuan Xie and the others would come before Mo Qingyun returned. Looking at Yuan Xie's attitude, he was afraid that Yuan Xie was going to do something to him. This was not a coincidence. Qian Guangxuan, where is Mo Qingyun? Yuan Xie asked with a cold smile as he looked at the tense Qian Guangxuan. He then said, "As long as you tell me where Mo Qingyun is, I can promise to spare your life." In Yuan Xie's opinion, Qian Guangxuan was just an insignificant character. It did not matter whether he was killed or not. The most important thing now was to get rid of Mo Qingyun and prevent Mo Qingyun from continuing to grow. Mo Qingyun's growth was too fast. They were already having trouble sleeping and eating. Oof. If you want to kill me, then kill me. There's no need to talk so much nonsense. I don't know where junior brother Mo is. In response to Yuan Xie's question, Qian Guangxun replied coldly with a haughty expression. As soon as Qian Guangxun finished speaking, he raised his head and put on a posture that said, "You can do whatever you want to me." In Qian Guangxuan's opinion, with Yuan Tainan and the other's powerful immortal infant stage cultivation, there was no way he could resist. In this case, it was the same whether he retorted or resisted. He might as well be more unyielding and rather die than submit. You're courting death. Seeing Qian Guangxuan's behavior, the Yuan family's immortal core stage expert's face darkened. He was about to kill Qian Guangxuan. Yuan Ling, stop. We still need to keep this brat alive. Seeing that Yuan Ling was about to kill Qian Guangxuan, Yuan Tainan stopped her and looked at Qian Guangxuan with a cold smile. He said, "This brat and Mo Qingyun are close friends. If Mo Qingyun knows that he's been captured, he will probably come to save him." "Granduncle, you're planning to..." Hearing Yuan Tianan's words, Yuan Xie's eyes lit up. He understood Yuan Tianan's plan. Yuan Tainan planned to use Qian Guangxuan as bait to lure Mo Qingyun to take the initiative to come. Understanding Yuan Tianan's plan, Yuan Xie and the others sneered and felt a sense of pride in their hearts. "Elder Yuan Tainan, you're really far-sighted. This is indeed a good plan. Granduncle, as long as Mo Qingyun dares to come, we'll definitely make sure he doesn't leave. Since Qian Guangxuan is here, I believe that Mo Qingyun will be here soon. Since it's like this, we'll wait here for Mo Qingyun." Yin Shursun and the others discussed for a while. They set up camp to rest and wait for Mo Qingyun's arrival. As for Qian Guangxuan, his cultivation was sealed by Yuan Tainan and the others, and he was imprisoned in a simple stone room. About 2 hours later, Mo Qingyun arrived near the dilapidated city gate tower and saw Yuan Xie and the others who had set up camp. Yuan Xie. Chapter 1262. Thinking that Qian Guangxuan might be in danger, Mo Qingyun used the concealment gate and quickly walked towards the dilapidated city gate tower. As Mo Qingyun walked towards the dilapidated city gate tower, he released his soul force to sense Qian Guangxuan's location. Over there, through Mo Qingyun's senses, he found Qian Guangxuan's location and quickly walked towards the simple stone room. Arriving in front of the stone room, Mo Qingyun used the teleportation gate and entered the stone room. After Mo Qingyun used the teleportation gate, the members of the 3 great clans who were guarding the stone room turned their heads in confusion. By the time they turned their heads, the teleportation gate had already disappeared, leaving behind only a trace of spatial fluctuations. Seeing the spatial fluctuations, the expressions of the people guarding the stone room became even more puzzled. They couldn't understand the scene in front of them. After a brief moment of confusion, they didn't think too much about it and turned their heads, no longer paying attention to the imprisoned Qian Guangxuan. When everyone turned their heads, Qian Guangxuan, who was leaning against the wall of the stone room, suddenly revealed a shocked expression. This was because Mo Qingyun's soul message had just appeared in his mind. Mo Qingyun had come to the dilapidated city gate tower. "Senior brother Qian, don't be nervous. I'll take you away now." While Qian Guangxuan was looking around, Mo Qingyun's soul message appeared in his mind again. As Mo Qingyun's voice fell, a whirlpool of light appeared in front of Qian Guangxuan, producing a strange energy fluctuation. When Qian Guangxuan saw the teleportation gate, a strong hand landed on his shoulder and led him into the teleportation gate. Then, Qian Guangxuan's figure disappeared from the stone room in an instant. When Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan left, the members of the 3 great clans who were guarding the stone room felt another spatial fluctuation. Then, They turned their heads to look inside the stone room, wanting to see what was going on. When they looked inside, they were all dumbfounded, not daring to believe their eyes. Qian Guang's son had disappeared. Qian Guangxuan's cultivation had been sealed by Yuan Tainan, yet he was still able to sneak away right under their noses. This situation was too abnormal. After a short period of shock, these people no longer hesitated and hurriedly went to report to Yuan Tainan. After a short while, Yuan Tainan and the others sat in a large hall in the old city tower with a dark expression. Now that Qian Guangxuan had escaped, how are they going to bait Mo Qingyan? Trash! You can't even keep an eye on someone without cultivation. Knowing that Qian Guang's son had escaped, Yuan Tainan was so angry that his teeth itched. He wanted nothing more than to kill these people. A person whose cultivation was sealed was actually rescued right under their noses. The few of them were too useless. Elder Yuan Tainan, now that Qian Guangxuan has been taken away, what should we do next? Seeing that their plan had failed, the meteorite lord revealed a serious expression and inquired about Yuan Tianan's future plans. When the crowd heard this, they all looked at Yuan Tainan, waiting for his next order. Seeing that everyone was looking at him, Yuan Tainan pondered for a moment and said with a cold expression, "Since Qian Guangxuan has escaped, there is no need for us to stay here. Let's continue looking for the treasure." Seeing Yuan Tianan's decision, everyone no longer hesitated and left the hall with Yuan Tainan. At this time, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan suddenly appeared in a pile of ruins not far from the old city tower. "Junior brother Mo, it's all thanks to you for saving me this time." After coming out of the transfer gate, Qian Guangxuan had a grateful expression and hurriedly thanked Mo Qingyun. Qian Guangxuan clearly remembered that ever since he met Mo Qingyun had helped him time and time again. This kindness was undoubtedly repaid. "Senior brother Qian, there is no need to say these things between us." In response to Qian Guangxuan's words of gratitude, Mo Qingyun smiled and waved his hand. He helped Qian Guangxuan to sit down and said, "I will help you break the seal in your body and help you recover your cultivation." "Thank you, junior brother Mo." Qian Guangxuan didn't refuse Mo Qingyun's suggestion and allowed Mo Qingyun to help him recover his cultivation. Immediately, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and began to break the seal in Qian Guangxuan's body. Because Yuan Tainan was at the great circle of the immortal infant stage, the seal he set was very strong, and Mo Qingyun couldn't break it easily. Half an hour later, under Mo Qingyun's unremitting efforts, he finally broke the seal and helped Qian Guangxuan recover his cultivation. Seeing that Qian Guangxuan's cultivation had recovered, Mo Qingyun withdrew his hands and closed his eyes to recover his spiritual energy. About a quarter of an hour later, Mo Qingyun's consumed spirit power was restored, and he withdrew from his cultivation. "Junior brother Mo, how's your investigation in the hematopoietic base?" Seeing that Mo Qingyun had stopped cultivating, Qian Guangxuan showed a curious expression and hurriedly asked Mo Qingyun. Hearing Qian Guangxuan's question, Mo Qingyun's expression turned serious, and he said in a deep voice, "The strength of this hematopoietic fortress is very strong. There are many experts at the immortal core and immortal infant stages. Among them, the strongest is the dark fire dragon tiger, whose cultivation has already reached the great circle of the immortal infant stage." After hearing Mo Qingyun's explanation, Qian Guangxuan's expression immediately turned serious, and he was worried for Mo Qingyun in his heart. To put it bluntly, Mo Qingyun entering the hematopoietic fortress alone was like trespassing into a tiger's den. In this case, what should we do next? Leave here immediately and return to the Immortal Palace? After knowing the strength of the hematopoietic base, Qian Guangxuan showed a worried expression and didn't want to stay in this space any longer. However, after hearing Qian Guangxuan's question, Mo Qingyun slightly raised the corner of his mouth and said with a faint smile, "Since we're already here, how can we leave so easily? Besides, we have to at least teach Yuan Xie and the others a lesson." "Then what are you going to do?" Qian Guangxuan was puzzled and was very curious about what Mo Qingyun wanted to do. Seeing Qian Guangxuan's expression, Mo Qingyun smirked and then said to Qian Guangsun, "Senior brother Qian, what do you think will happen if I lead the people of the three major families to the hematopoietic base?" Haha, that's a good idea. After hearing Mo Qingyun's plan, Qian Guangsun immediately revealed a look of pleasant surprise and spoke excitedly. At this moment, he seemed to see the scene of the three major families fighting the dark fire dragon tiger and the others. If that's the case, let's get started. After telling Qian Guangsun his idea, Mo Qingyun didn't want to waste any more time and was ready to go to the three major families of the dark fire dragon tiger. At this moment, just as Mo Qingyun was about to take action, Qian Guangsun showed a troubled expression and said, "But where are we going to find Yuan Xie and the others now?" Mo Qingyun had expected Qian Guangsun to say this. After hearing this, he smiled mysteriously and said, "You don't have to worry about that. When I saved you, I left a mark on the guard of the stone room. I can use the mark to find them." Chapter 1263. After about 2 hours, Mo Qingyun finally saw Yuan Xie and the others as he followed them all the way. In order to escape when they arrived, Mo Qingyun did not bring Qian Guangsun with him. He arranged for him to stay in a safe place. The direction that Yuan Xie and the others were heading in just happened to bypass the area of the hematopoietic base. It was unknown whether it was intentional or just a coincidence. Seeing Yuan Xie and the others in front of him, Mo Qingyun did not stop and quickly rushed towards them. Heavenly Flame's sky-breaking halberd. After a few flashes, Mo Qingyun came close to Yuan Xie and the others. He waved the immortal burning halberd and slashed it towards them. 1,000-meter-long fire dragon halberd radiance gushed out from the immortal burning halberd and rushed towards Yuan Xie and the others. When Mo Qingyun attacked with his halberd, Yuan Xie and the others immediately noticed his presence. Mo Qingyun actually took the initiative to attack them? Could it be that Mo Qingyun was tired of living? Could it be that Mo Qingyun did not know that they had experts in the great circle of the immortal infant stage who could instantly kill Mo Qingyun on the spot? At this moment, Yuan Xie and the others were dumbfounded. They did not understand what Mo Qingyun was thinking. We were worried about not being able to find you. You actually delivered yourself to us." Looking at Mo Qingyun, who was not far from them, Yuan Xie and the others sneered and rushed towards Mo Qingyun. In their opinion, no matter what Mo Qingyun was thinking, this was a good opportunity for them to kill Mo Qingyun. Seeing that Yuan Xie and the others were rushing towards him, Mo Qingyun's lips curled into a mocking smile. He turned around and rushed towards the hematopoietic base. His demonic shadow was traceless, and his body moved according to his thoughts. Although Mo Qingyun's cultivation level was not high, his walking speed was extremely fast. Every step he took covered a distance of 10,000 miles. And this was after Mo Qingyun had slowed down. Otherwise, he would have run even faster. Seeing Mo Qingyun's fleeing speed, Yuan Tainan and the others were all shocked. They were greatly shocked by Mo Qingyun's performance. Mo Qingyun's fleeing speed was actually faster than Yuan Tainan and the others. No wonder Mo Qingyun dared to sneak attack them. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Yuan Tainan and the others' killing intent towards Mo Qingyun immediately became much stronger. He couldn't let Mo Qingyun continue to grow. Otherwise, there would be no end of trouble in the future. Mo Qingyun, you won't be able to escape. I don't believe that the spiritual energy in your body is enough to last until you break free from us. You don't know your limits. Since you've delivered yourself to death, then just obediently wait for death. Mo Qingyun, prepare to die. Today, we will settle this once and for all. Seeing Mo Qingyun fleeing in front of them, Yuan Tainan and the others chased after Mo Qingyun and yelled angrily at him. As for Yuan Tainan and the others' performance, Mo Qingyun only smiled faintly. He didn't pay too much attention to them. What he needed to do now was to lure Yuan Tainan and the others to the blood-making fort and let them fight with Xiao Honghu and the others. After a short while, Mo Qingyun and the others arrived in front of the blood-making fort. Arriving in front of the blood-making fort, Mo Qingyun stopped in his tracks and waited for Yuan Tainan and the others to come closer. Oof, there's no way forward. Let's see where you can run now. Seeing Mo Qingyun stop in front of them, Yuan Tainan and the others immediately became proud. They felt that Mo Qingyun had become a turtle in a jar. However, what happened next made them all widen their eyes in shock. Mo Qingyun had disappeared. Boom! Before Yuan Tainan and the others could regain their senses, a deafening sound suddenly rang out from the fort in front of them. Not long after the sound rang out, several figures flew out from the fort. They radiated with shocking presences. That's right, these figures were Xiao Honghu and the others. A bunch of reckless people. How dare you behave so atrociously in my territory? Looking at Yuan Tainan and the others outside the fort, Xiao Honghu roared furiously with a twisted expression. He said furiously, "Guys, kill them immediately. Don't let a single one of them go." Recently, Xiao Honghu had been very angry. The thieves from a few days ago had yet to be caught, and today, another group of people had come to cause trouble. Was he, Xiao Honghu, so easy to bully? In the past 1,000 years, other than having his bloodline forcefully modified by a tiger expert, Xiao Honghu, had never suffered such a setback as he had in the past few days. As a result, if he didn't teach Yuan Tainan and the others a lesson, it would be difficult for him to get rid of his anger. We've been tricked. Seeing the appearance of Xiao Honghu and the others, Yuan Tainan and the others' faces twitched. A strong sense of uneasiness grew in their hearts. Looking at this scene, as long as they weren't idiots, they knew that they had been tricked by Mo Qingyun. Damn it, Mo Qingyun, I will cut you into pieces. Thinking about how he had been tricked by Mo Qingyun, Yuan Tainan immediately gritted his teeth. He wanted nothing more than to skin Mo Qingyun and pull out his tendons. However, the situation right now didn't allow Yuan Tainan to think too much. He hurriedly attacked Xiao Honghu and the others. Seeing that Yuan Tainan and the others were fighting, Mo Qingyun smiled in satisfaction and snuck into the fort. Entering the fort again, Mo Qingyun was very familiar with the way. He didn't make any turns and went straight to the altar. When he arrived at the entrance of the altar, Mo Qingyun didn't stop. He directly used a teleportation gate and entered the interior of the altar. After arriving at the interior of the altar, Mo Qingyun summoned He Xian, Iron Wing, Savage Beast, Mo Zai, Mo, and the others from the 5 directional towers. After summoning everyone, Mo Qingyun gave them some instructions before attacking the formation of the blood pool together. When Mo Qingyun attacked the barrier of the blood pool, what he didn't expect was that the formation that Xiao Honghu had set up at the entrance of the altar actually isolated the movements within the altar. This way, they didn't have to worry about attacking the barrier of the blood pool. Bang, bang, bang. Under the combined attacks of Mo Qingyun and the others, the barriers of the blood pool were destroyed one after another. The blood in the blood pool was completely exposed. Seeing that the barrier of the blood pool had been destroyed, Mo Qingyun obviously didn't waste any time. He immediately began collecting the blood in the blood pool. Seeing the blood being collected one by one, Mo Qingyun smiled in surprise and joy. He sighed. If Xiao Honghu knew that the formation he set up at the entrance of the altar would have such an effect, he'd probably vomit blood from regret. Mo Qingyun did not stop. As he attacked the barrier of the blood pool furiously, he said to the others beside him, Yuan Xie and the others might not be able to last for too long. As a result, we need to hurry and collect as much blood as possible. Mo Qingyun knew very well that Yuan Tainan and the others would definitely think of a way to retreat if they knew that they had been set up. They wouldn't fight to the death with Xiao Honghu and the others. Once Yuan Tainan and the others retreated, Xiao Honghu and the others would return as well. Mo Qingyun wouldn't be able to continue collecting blood. Chapter 1264. They're back already? Mo Qingyun was slightly startled when he sensed Xiao Honghu and the others' auras. He immediately stopped what he was doing. Then he sent He Xian and the others into the 5-directional pagoda and left the altar using the concealment door. Although Xiao Honghu and the others had returned very quickly, his harvest this time was already astonishing. Although they didn't manage to empty the altar of blood, they still managed to take away about 70% of the blood in the altar. As for the remaining 30%, it was the blood of some weak god race members. It wasn't particularly valuable. After leaving the altar, Mo Qingyun didn't stop and directly left the blood-making fortress. After leaving the blood-making fortress, Mo Qingyun went straight to meet up with Qian Guangxuan. A quarter of an hour later, Mo Qingyun finally arrived at Qian Guangxuan's residence. Junior brother Mo, is everything settled? Seeing Mo Qingyun's arrival, Qian Guangxuan looked expectant and asked about Mo Qingyun's situation. Yes, it's all settled. Mo Qingyun nodded with a faint smile. He revealed a joyful expression and said, "It went smoother than I expected. Apart from letting Yuan Tainan and the others fight the Darkfire Dragon Tiger, I also entered the blood-making fortress and obtained many good things." "Oh, hurry up and tell me. What good things did you get?" Qian Guangxuan raised his eyebrows and revealed a curious expression. He hurriedly asked Mo Qingyun, "No hurry. Let's find a secluded place, and I'll tell you the details." Mo Qingyun didn't immediately answer Qian Guangxuan's question. Instead, he told him to go ahead. "Okay." Qian Guangxuan nodded at Mo Qingyun's suggestion and left with Mo Qingyun. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun was in a hurry to leave because he was worried that Xiao Honghu and the others would chase after them. After a short while, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan arrived at a dilapidated fortress. This place was vast but sparsely populated, so there shouldn't be anyone coming here. When they arrived at this dilapidated fortress, Mo Qingyun no longer kept them in suspense and told them everything that had happened. Of course, regarding the existence of He Xian and the others, Mo Qingyun did not reveal too much. He only mentioned it briefly. After all, He Xian and the others were also of the divine race. Moreover, their bloodline was extremely powerful. It was not appropriate for them to reveal themselves in front of others. After listening to Mo Qingyun's explanation, Qian Guangxuan's expression immediately became excited. He was looking forward to the god race's blood. After telling the story, Mo Qingyun took out a simple bottle and handed it to Qian Guangxuan. "Senior brother Qian, this bottle contains the blood of the god race. If you refine it, it should be able to advance your cultivation further." Looking at the god race's blood that Mo Qingyun handed over, Qian Guangxuan did not stand on ceremony and directly raised his hand to receive it. In these days, he had gone through life and death with Mo Qingyun. He also knew Mo Qingyun's character. Mo Qingyun gave him the god race's blood. This meant that he treated him as a brother. If he were to be courteous, it would make him seem pretentious. After receiving the god race's blood from Mo Qingyun, Qian Guangxuan immediately began to refine it, preparing to use it to advance his cultivation. Qian Guangxuan's current thoughts were very simple. That was to refine the god race's blood as soon as possible and advance his cultivation to take revenge on Yuan Xie and the others. Seeing Qian Guangxuan take the god race's blood to refine, Mo Qingyun also took out some god race's blood and began to refine it. Of course, before Mo Qingyun refined the god race's blood, he also gave a portion of the god race's blood to He Xian and the others so that they could also refine the god race's blood to advance their cultivation. In the following days, as Mo Qingyun and the others refined the god race's blood, time passed by quietly. 10 days later, as Qian Guangxuan refined the god race's blood with all his might, his aura suddenly increased by more than a few times. Qian Guangxuan's cultivation had broken through. Sensing the change in Qian Guangxuan's aura, Mo Qingyun withdrew from his cultivation and looked at Qian Guangxuan with a slightly surprised expression. Mo Qingyun did not expect that Qian Guangxuan's cultivation would directly break through to the immortal core stage with the help of the god race's blood. This increase was a little too big. After briefly observing Qian Guangxuan's situation, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and continued to refine the god race's blood to advance his cultivation. As he continued to refine the god race's blood, Mo Qingyun's cultivation increased rapidly. Soon, he reached the peak of the 5th level of the celestial realm. After raising his cultivation to the peak of the 5th level of the celestial realm, Mo Qingyun did not stop there. Instead, he continued to refine the god race's blood essence. After an unknown amount of time, Mo Qingyun's aura suddenly entered a whole new level. Mo Qingyun's cultivation also broke through and entered the heavenly immortal stage. After breaking through to the heavenly immortal stage, Mo Qingyun did not stop cultivating. Instead, he continued to refine the god race's blood to stabilize his cultivation. Just like that, a few more days passed before Mo Qingyun finally stopped cultivating. After these few days of cultivation, not only did Mo Qingyun stabilize his cultivation, but he also raised his cultivation to the peak of the early stage of the immortal fog stage. After withdrawing from his cultivation, Mo Qingyun released his soul power to sense Qian Guangxuan's cultivation beside him. After sensing for a while, Mo Qingyun found that Qian Guangxuan's cultivation had reached the peak of the early stage of the immortal core stage. Although he did not directly enter the middle stage of the immortal core stage, he was only a step away. He believed that he would be able to successfully break through soon. After checking Qian Guangxuan's cultivation, Mo Qingyun looked at the situation of He Xian and the others. He found that the few of them had improved even more. Now, He Xian, Iron Wing, and Savage Beast cultivation had already reached the peak of the immortal core stage. They were only a step away from the immortal infant stage. Although Mo's improvement was not as great as He Xian and the others, he had also entered the heavenly immortal stage. Like Mo Qingyun, he was at the peak of the early stage of the immortal fog stage. Xia's cultivation was originally too low. Therefore, even with the help of the god race's blood, she was still only at the 3rd level of the heaven-human stage. What surprised Mo Qingyun the most was the extent of Mo Zai's improvement. She had actually broken through to the immortal infant stage. This situation was beyond Mo Qingyun's expectations. Although Mo Zai's cultivation had entered the early stage of the immortal core stage after refining Lu He's flesh and blood, it was still a little too fast for her to break through to the immortal infant stage. Of course, Mo Qingyun did not object to Mo Zai's rapid improvement. This way, when he fought with others, Mo Zai would be able to help him. Since everyone's cultivation has improved, it's time to find Yuan Xie and the others for revenge. Seeing his current strength, Mo Qingyun was unwilling to wait any longer. He decided to settle the grudge between Yuan Xie and Yuan Xie immediately. With this thought in mind, Mo Qingyun stood up and said to Qian Guangxuan beside him, "Senior brother Qian, let's go. I'll take you to collect some interest." "Junior brother Mo, could it be that you want to?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Guangxuan's expression immediately changed. He could guess what Mo Qingyun wanted to do. Chapter 1265. Since our cultivations have increased, we naturally have to find Yuan Tainan to settle the score. "Senior brother Qian, don't you want revenge?" Seeing that Qian Guangxuan had guessed his thoughts, Mo Qingyun didn't try to hide it and smiled meaningfully at Qian Guangxuan. "I do, of course I do." Qian Guangxuan nodded without hesitation, a strong hatred between his eyebrows. After replying to Mo Qingyun, Qian Guangxuan's expression became more worried. He said worriedly, "Junior brother Mo, Yuan Tianan's cultivation is already at the great circle of the immortal infant stage. I'm afraid we're still not his match." Thinking of Yuan Tianan's powerful cultivation, Qian Guangxuan's expression became worried. He was afraid that he and Mo Qingyun wouldn't be able to defeat Yuan Tainan. In response to Qian Guangxuan's worries, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and comforted Qian Guangxuan, "Senior brother Qian, don't worry. Since I dare to find Yuan Tainan for revenge, I naturally have some confidence. All right, since that's the case, I'll risk my life to accompany you." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Guangxuan didn't think too much about it and decided to risk everything to accompany Mo Qingyun. In Qian Guangxuan's heart, he had a kind of blind trust in Mo Qingyun and felt that Mo Qingyun was omnipotent. Even though Mo Qingyun's cultivation was worlds apart from Yuan Tianan's, he still chose to believe in Mo Qingyun. After discussing with Qian Guangxuan, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time and went to find Yuan Tainan and the others for revenge. Fortunately, Mo Qingyun didn't kill all of the people who had been marked by Xiao Honghu. Immediately, Mo Qingyun followed the soul mark and went to find Yuan Tainan and the others. Half a month ago, after Yuan Tainan and the others fought with Xiao Honghu, they fled towards the west and came to a collapsed mountain. Damn you, Mo Qingyun. If I see you again, I'll definitely tear you to pieces. Standing in front of the mountain, Yuan Tianan's expression was ferocious. He raised his hand and slammed it towards the mountain. Bang! Under Yuan Tianan's palm, a large hole was immediately blasted open in the mountain peak, revealing a deep tunnel. Seeing the tunnel in the mountain, Yuan Tainan and the others were shocked. They walked towards the tunnel curiously. As Yuan Tainan and the others walked towards the tunnel, they sensed a dense blood qi drifting out from the tunnel ahead. After this discovery, the eyes of Yuan Tainan and the others lit up, and their heartbeats sped up. Treasure. Could it be that there was some priceless treasure hidden in this tunnel? Thinking of this, the anger in the hearts of Yuan Tainan and the rest were instantly swept away. Yuan Tainan said excitedly, "Everyone, this tunnel might lead to the cave abode of a prehistoric expert. Let's go in and take a look." After Yuan Tainan said those words, he impatiently lifted his feet and walked into the tunnel. As Yuan Tainan and the others entered the tunnel, numerous pawns of different sizes appeared before their eyes. Now, these pawns were all thirsty. Who knew what they used to contain in the past? Seeing this, Yuan Tainan and the others did not stop. They continued to walk towards the depths of the tunnel. At this moment, if Mo Qingyun was here, he would definitely know the purpose of these pawns. That's right, these pawns are the same as the pawns in the blood creation fort. They were all used to contain the blood of the god clan. Roar! Yuan Tainan and the others walked for a while. Suddenly, blood-red figures emerged from the bottom of the pawns. After these blood-red figures appeared, they emitted a shocking aura that enveloped Yuan Tainan and the others. Mutated blood demons. There are actually so many mutated blood demons here. Looking at the blood-red figures in front of them, Yuan Tainan and the others were shocked. The scene in front of them was not light. There are so many mutated blood demons here. There must be a lot of treasures hidden here. Let's immediately kill these mutated blood demons. After a short moment of shock, Yuan Tainan instructed the others and began to attack the mutated blood demons. Hearing Yuan Tianan's words, Yin Sun and the others were immediately filled with anticipation. They quickly attacked the mutated blood demons. These mutated blood demons were not strong. They were only at the immortal fog and immortal dew stages. Moreover, they had not yet awakened their intelligence. Therefore, under the attacks of Yuan Tainan and the others, the mutated blood demons were quickly wiped out. After killing the mutated blood demons, Yuan Tainan and the others' expressions became more excited. Perhaps they thought that by killing the mutated blood demons, they were one step closer to obtaining the treasures. Then, Yuan Tainan rushed towards the tunnel. He couldn't wait to see the treasures in the tunnel. After the time it takes to brew a cup of tea, Yuan Tainan and the others arrived at the end of the tunnel. They saw a few ponds filled with blood and a strange array flickering with light. Seeing this scene, Yuan Tainan and the others were disappointed. This was too different from what they had imagined. Could it be that they had thought too much? Now, just as Yuan Tainan and the others were feeling disappointed, a man with the head of a tiger and the body of a human walked out. He said, "Friends of the immortal clan, welcome to the heaven-devouring tiger blood refinery." Hearing this voice, Yuan Tainan and the others were shocked. They turned their heads to look at the source of the voice. When they looked, Yuan Tainan and the others were instantly stunned. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. The person in front of them was a genius of the God clan. 1,000,000 years ago, he had dominated the wasteland continent. Rumors about him had spread throughout the wasteland continent 10,000 years ago. Almost every immortal clan and God clan knew about him. Yuan Tainan and the others didn't expect to meet such an existence in this tunnel. It really shocked them quite a bit. You are the heaven-devouring demonic tiger, Ko Kun? Looking at the person in front of him, Yuan Tianan's mind was filled with thousands of thoughts. He quickly recalled all the rumors about him. Ko Kun was originally an ordinary tiger of the God clan. After awakening his bloodline step by step, he finally awakened the heaven-devouring tiger bloodline, one of the top 16 on the primitive 10,000 races leaderboard. This shocking legend had always been praised by the demon clan on the wasteland continent. He became a role model for countless God clan juniors. Heaven-devouring demonic tiger, Ko Kun. When he heard Yuan Tainan call him that, a melancholy expression appeared on his face. As if he had thought of many things in the past, he shook his head and sighed. It's been a long time since I've heard this name. It's a pity that this name will never belong to me. Yuan Tainan and the others didn't understand what Ko Kun meant. It's rare for someone to come talk to me. Let me tell you all about my background. Ko Kun glanced at Yuan Tainan and the others with a faint smile. He raised his tiger head again and sighed. I remember when Ko Kun was still alive. Everyone called me Ko Kun number 9. Now that the real Ko Kun is dead, am I still Ko Kun number 9? Chapter 1266. As Ko Kun number 9 continued to speak, Yuan Tainan and the others became more and more shocked. They were more and more in awe of the dark demons. A mere replica of Ko Kun, ranked 9th among the replicas, had the power of a golden immortal. This was too frightening. More importantly, even someone as powerful as Ko Kun was subdued by the dark demons and turned into their test subject. From this, it could be seen how terrifying the dark demon race was. Senior, we have offended you. We will bid you farewell now. After knowing how terrifying Ko Kun number 9 was, Yuan Tainan and the others no longer had the heart to search for treasures. They only wanted to leave this terrifying place. After speaking, Yuan Tainan and the others turned to leave. They didn't want to stay here for a second longer. Since you're here, don't be in such a hurry to leave. Seeing that Yuan Tainan and the others were about to leave, Ko Kun number 9 raised his hand and grabbed them back. He smiled faintly and said, "Seeing that you guys chatted with me just now, this old man has decided to give you guys some good fortune. I'll help you fuse with a kind of desolate god race bloodline." Fuse with the desolate bloodline, Senior, please don't. Thinking that they were about to be injected with the bloodline, Yuan Tainan and the others paled. They hurriedly begged Ko Kun number 9 for mercy. They knew very well that once the news of them fusing with the bloodline was exposed, they would be hunted down by the immortals until they were killed. More importantly, after they were killed, their families would be implicated. This wasn't something they wanted to see. However, Ko Kun number 9 chose to ignore Yuan Tainan and the others' pleas for mercy. Right now, Ko Kun number 9 didn't seem to be discussing with Yuan Tainan and the others. He seemed to be talking to himself. Carefully sizing up Yuan Tainan, Ko Kun number 9 forcefully injected a type of flaming blood into Yuan Tianan's body and said, "Your body is suitable for the Fire Shield Bull bloodline, so I'll fuse it with you. Kid, enjoy." After injecting the Fire Shield Ox bloodline into Yuan Tianan's body, Ko Kun number 9 threw him into the formation and fused him with the Fire Shield Ox bloodline. After fusing with Yuan Tianan's bloodline, Ko Kun number 9's hands didn't stop moving. He continued to inject the god race's bloodline into the others. Facing Ko Kun number 9's actions, although Yuan Xie and the others continued to beg for forgiveness, the result was exactly the same as Yuan Tianan's. As time passed, Yuan Xie and the others were injected with god race blood and thrown into the array by Ko Kun number 9. Yuan Tainan and the others were thrown into the formation. With the help of the formation's power, they began to fuse with the god blood in their bodies. As Yuan Tainan and the others fused with the god race blood, The auras they exuded began to grow stronger and stronger. A few days later, the auras emitted by Yuan Tainan and the others entered a whole new level one after another. Their cultivations had all broken through. Seeing that they had broken through, Yuan Tainan and the others were overjoyed. Their expressions turned cold. If that was the case, if they met Mo Qingyan again, they wouldn't have to worry about Mo Qingyan escaping. Very good. Seeing Yuan Tainan and the others' performance, Ko number 9 smiled with satisfaction. He nodded and said, I didn't expect that with your constitutions, you would be able to fuse your bloodline power to 30%. This is truly beyond my expectations. After praising Yuan Tainan and the others, Ko number 9 looked at Yuan Xie and praised, especially you, kid. You actually managed to fuse your bloodline power to 70%. Even I was ashamed of my inferiority back then. It's a pity that the bloodline you fused with is too low. Otherwise, your achievements in the future would surpass mine. I'm already very satisfied with this fortune. I don't dare to ask for more. Yuan Xie showed a humble expression in response to Ko number 9's praise. He hurriedly cupped his hands in response. At this moment, when Yuan Xie opened his mouth to respond, his heart was filled with excitement. He didn't expect that in just a few days, his cultivation would reach the immortal infant stage. Now, he could seek revenge on Mo Qingyan. Mo Qingyan, Qian Guangsuan, Ji Qiong, just you wait. See how I'll deal with you in the future. Recalling the humiliation that Mo Qingyun and the others brought to him, Yuan Xie secretly clenched his fists. His expression became even more ferocious. At this moment, he couldn't wait to meet Mo Qingyun and kill Mo Qingyun with his sword. Compared to Yuan Xie's increase in cultivation, Yuan Tainan and the others' increase in cultivation was much weaker. However, Yuan Tainan and the others' cultivation was high. Although their increase in cultivation wasn't that great, their cultivation had reached the true immortal stage. True immortal stage. My cultivation has reached the true immortal stage. Seeing that his cultivation had reached the true immortal stage, Yuan Tianan's face was filled with ecstasy. He was extremely excited. True immortal realm. Such a cultivation base in Yongnan immortal realm could be considered as a real powerhouse. Although the full immortal infant stage was only one step away from the true immortal stage, this one step was like a natural chasm that many couldn't cross in their lifetime. Thank you, Senior, for your guidance. If Senior has any orders, we will do our best to fulfill them. After receiving the benefits from Ko number 9, Yuan Tainan hurriedly bowed, showing an attitude of repaying with his life. They weren't idiots. They knew that there was no such thing as a free lunch in the world. Now, that Ko number 9 had given them such great benefits, how could they not ask for anything? It was impossible. Moreover, now that the immortal bloodline had been injected into his body, he was on the same boat as Ko number 9. Continuing to oppose Ko number 9 was obviously an unwise choice. If one day they would be hunted down by the immortals, they would have to rely on Ko number 9's protection. In this way, it was necessary for them to curry favor with Ko number 9. At least you have some conscience. You didn't disappoint me. Seeing the reaction of Yuan Tainan and the others, Ko number 9 revealed a satisfied smile. He nodded and said, regarding this old man's existence, you cannot leak out the slightest bit. Just in case, I will need to plant an imprint in your souls. Plant a mark in our soul. Hearing Ko number 9's words, Yuan Tainan and the others were shocked. Their expressions revealed a trace of unwillingness. They knew very well that once a mark was planted in their soul, it meant that they had completely handed over the control of their lives to Ko number 9. Just as Yuan Tainan and the others were hesitating, their heads suddenly buzzed. It was as if there was something extra in their heads. They knew that a soul mark had been planted in their soul. Seeing this, Yuan Tainan and the others bitterly smiled. They felt a strong sense of helplessness. Chapter 1267. All right, you can leave now. If there's anything else, I'll let you know when the time comes. After planting a soul imprint in the minds of Yuan Tainan and the others, Kokua number 9 waved his hand at them. Yes, we'll leave now. Seeing Kokua number 9's action, Yuan Tainan and the others nodded respectfully and left the tunnel. After a while, Yuan Tainan and the others left the tunnel and arrived in front of the collapsed mountain. Looking at the collapsed mountain, Yuan Tainan and the others sighed. Their emotions became complicated. Although Kokua number 9 had greatly increased their strength, they had also stepped onto a path of no return. They didn't know when they would reach the end. Elder Yuan Tainan, what should we do now? Coming out of Kokua number 9's tunnel, Yunshi Sun looked at Yuan Tainan and asked for his opinion. Hearing Yunshi Sun's question, Yuan Tianan's expression instantly became gloomy. He gritted his teeth and said, "The reason we ended up like this is all because of that brat Mo Qingyan. We definitely can't let that brat go." Hearing Yuan Tianan's angry words, Yunshi Sun and the others' expressions also became gloomy. Yuan Tainan was right. If it weren't for chasing Mo Qingyan, they wouldn't have come to this battleground space. Naturally, they wouldn't have encountered Kokua number 9, and they wouldn't have been fused with the God Race bloodline. They wouldn't have fallen into a life and death situation. Although their cultivation had greatly increased after fusing with the God Race bloodline, the risk and price was too great. If they weren't careful, not only would they die, but their families would also be greatly affected. If my guess is correct, Mo Qingyan shouldn't have left the battleground space. Let's continue to look for him in the battleground space. After explaining his thoughts to the others, Yuan Tianan's expression became cold, and he prepared to continue searching for Mo Qingyan. Currently, in Yuan Tianan's heart, Mo Qingyan was like a fishbone stuck in his throat. If he didn't get rid of Mo Qingyan, he would never be able to vent the hatred in his heart. Following this, Yuan Tainan and the others aggressively searched for Mo Qingyan in the battleground space. 5 days later, after Mo Qingyan and the other had been searching for each other, they finally met. Mo Qingyan. As they looked at Mo Qingyan who was approaching them, Yuan Tainan and the others revealed cold expressions, and their expressions became distorted. He had finally found Mo Qingyan. He could finally vent the hatred in his heart. While Yuan Tainan and the others had cold expressions as they sized up Mo Qingyan and his companion, Mo Qingyan was also sizing them up with a faint smile. After so many days of tracking, they had finally found Yuan Tainan and the others. They could finally collect some interest from them. True immortal realm. Yuan Tianan's cultivation has broken through to the true immortal realm. Sensing the change in Yuan Tianan's aura, Mo Qingyan's expression couldn't help but change, revealing a look of surprise. This situation was beyond what he had expected. He didn't expect Yuan Tainan to break through to the true immortal realm in such a short period of time. This was going to be difficult to deal with. With Yuan Tainan and the others' true immortal realm cultivation, if Mo Qingyan wanted to deal with them, he would probably have to use some trump cards. Otherwise, even if Mo Qingyan broke through to the peak of the early stage of the immortal fog realm, it would be very difficult for him to keep Yuan Tainan here. Sensing the change in Yuan Tianan's aura, Mo Qingyan also sensed the aura of Yuan Xie and the others. He wanted to see if there were any changes in their cultivation. After sensing for a while, the shock on Mo Qingyan's face became even thicker. Yuan Xie and the others' cultivation had also broken through. If this was the case, then if Mo Qingyan's guess was correct, they should have had some shocking fortuitous encounter. Mo? Junior Mo, what should we do now? The true immortal realm isn't something we can fight against. After knowing the cultivation of Yuan Tainan and the others, Qian Guangxuan couldn't help but reveal a look of panic. He seemed to be at a loss. In his eyes, the true immortal realm was already equivalent to an invincible existence. It was definitely not something that he and Mo Qingyan could fight against. Senior Qian, you don't have to panic. Although the true immortal realm is very strong, it doesn't mean that we can't win. Seeing Qian Guangxuan's panicked expression, Mo Qingyan smiled indifferently and comforted him. Although the cultivation of Yuan Tainan and the others was far from what Mo Qingyun had imagined, it wasn't that Mo Qingyun couldn't deal with them. However, Mo Qingyun was hesitating. When dealing with Yuan Tainan and the others later, he should reveal his trump cards. Just as Mo Qingyun was thinking, he turned to look at Yuan Xie and the others and confronted them. Seeing Mo Qingyun looking at them, Yuan Xie revealed a look of disdain. He glanced at Mo Qingyun and mocked. Mo Qingyun, don't tell me you think that you can fight against us with your cultivation at the peak of the early stage immortal mist realm. So what if I do? In response to Yuan Xie's arrogant words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and replied calmly. Although Yuan Xie's cultivation had entered the immortal infant realm, he was still no different from a clown in Mo Qingyun's eyes. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Yuan Tainan and the others' faces darkened. He said coldly, "Kid, you talk big. You're merely at the peak of the early stage immortal mist realm, and you want to fight against us. I'll take care of you right now." At this moment, a late-stage immortal infant realm expert from the Yuan family walked out of the crowd with a cold expression. Seeing this person walk out of the crowd, Yuan Xie hurriedly raised his hand to stop him. He smiled faintly and said, "Third Uncle Yuan Jin, there's no need for you to deal with this kid and Mo Qingyun. Let me do it for you." "All right." Seeing that Yuan Xie had volunteered to fight, Yuan Jin nodded his head and turned around to return to the crowd. When Yuan Jin walked back into the crowd, Yuan Xie sneered and took a few steps forward. He looked at Mo Qingyun with a mocking gaze and sneered, "Mo Qingyun, it just so happens that I have made quite a bit of progress recently. Now, let me play with you and see which of us has made greater progress." After Yuan Xie finished speaking, he released the strength of the nascent soul realm. He laughed proudly and said, "Mo Qingyun, you didn't expect this, did you? My cultivation has already entered the immortal infant realm. Today I, Yuan Xie, will avenge my past humiliation and kill you, Mo Qingyun, with my own hands. You talk too much. If you want to fight, then come quickly. There's still many people waiting behind you." Mo Qingyun showed a disdainful expression and pointed at Yuan Tainan and the others behind Yuan Xie. It was as if he was saying that there were still many people waiting to die and that Yuan Xie shouldn't waste time here. "You're courting death." Hearing Mo Qingyun's arrogant words, Yuan Xie's face immediately darkened. He took out a long sword and slashed at Mo Qingyun. Lightning breaking immortal sky, Yuan Xie slashed out with his sword, and a terrifying lightning burst out from the long sword in his hand. Chapter 1268. Facing Yuan Xie's attack, Mo Qingyun's expression was indifferent. He didn't even try to dodge. With his current physical strength, even the god's retribution couldn't hurt him, let alone Yuan Xie's attack. Following that, Mo Qingyun forcefully took the attack of the lightning bolt and smashed it apart in a domineering manner. How is this possible? Looking at Mo Qingyun's performance, Yuan Xie's eyes widened. He couldn't believe this was real. How did Mo Qingyun become so strong? With his current strength at the immortal infant stage, he couldn't even break through Mo Qingyun's physical defense with his full strength. The gap between him and Mo Qingyun was so big. Golden Snake flashing halberd. While Yuan Xie was still in shock, Mo Qingyun stabbed the immortal burning halberd forward. It emitted a blinding golden light. Then, Mo Qingyun's body disappeared from everyone's senses. Pucci. After a short while, when Mo Qingyun reappeared, he was holding the immortal burning halberd and piercing it into Yuan Xie's body. How is this possible? Looking at his own body being pierced, Yuan Xie's eyes widened. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Facing Mo Qingyun's attack, he couldn't even defend himself. This was too much of a blow to his confidence. Looking at the terrified Yuan Xie, Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain. He said with disdain, "This is your improvement, Yuan Xie." Seeing that Yuan Xie's chest was pierced by Mo Qingyun's halberd, Yuan Tainan and the others' expressions changed. They quickly rushed towards Yuan Xie. When Yuan Tainan and the others rushed towards Yuan Xie, they didn't show any mercy. They all swung their swords at Mo Qingyun. Seeing that Yuan Tainan and the others were attacking him, Mo Qingyun quickly retreated to avoid their attacks. Now, that Mo Qingyun didn't use his trump card. He couldn't fight against immortal infant stage powerhouses. Blood Chi Berserk. Invincible. While Mo Qingyun was retreating rapidly, he no longer held back and immediately used 2 sacred arts to increase his battle prowess. Instantly, a shocking power was emitted from Mo Qingyun's body. At the same time, the aura emanating from Mo Qingyun's body increased by several times. Mo Qingyun's body didn't stop as he unleashed the 2 divine abilities. He charged towards one of the immortal infant stage experts from the 3 great clans. This person's cultivation was similar to Yuan Xie's. Faced with Mo Qingyun's attack, he was unable to react in time, and his head was pierced by Mo Qingyun's halberd. Then, the man's body fell from the sky. He had been killed by Mo Qingyun on the spot. His soul did not even have the chance to leave his body. After Mo Qingyun killed this person, his body didn't stop as he charged towards another immortal infant stage expert. Brat, don't be so arrogant. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Yuan Tianan's face revealed a ferocious expression as he rushed towards Mo Qingyun. He had to stop Mo Qingyun. Otherwise, his clansmen would all be killed. Under the combined efforts of Yuan Tainan and Yun Sun, Mo Qingyun's attack was stopped, and he was entangled with the 2 of them. After intercepting Mo Qingyun, Yuan Tainan didn't dare delay in the slightest, and he hurriedly instructed everyone by his side. All of you take Yuan Xie and retreat to the side. Elder Yun and I will deal with Mo Qingyun. Yuan Tianan's orders were, as if when they were fighting with Mo Qingyun had killed the original immortal infant stage expert. Hearing Yuan Tianan's orders, the people from the 3 great clans didn't dare to hesitate as they quickly retreated. When the people from the 3 great clans retreated, their faces were filled with shock. Mo Qingyun had actually grown to such a stage. With their current immortal infant stage cultivation, they would only be killed in an instant when facing Mo Qingyun. While Yuan Tainan and the rest were shocked, they also felt some relief in their hearts. Fortunately, they had fused with the God Clan's blood, which allowed their cultivation to increase greatly. Otherwise, when they encountered Mo Qingyun this time, they might have all died under Mo Qingyun's hands. Yuan Tainan and Yun Sun were indeed true immortal stage experts. Under their combined efforts, Mo Qingyun quickly fell into a passive state. Bang! After exchanging over 100 moves with Yuan Tainan, Mo Qingyun finally couldn't block the 4 of them with his 2 fists and was punched in the chest by Yun Sun. Being hit by Yun Sun's punch, Mo Qingyun's body flew out at an extremely fast speed and landed heavily on the ground, creating a large crater. Junior brother Mo, how are you? Seeing Mo Qingyun being sent flying by Yun Sun, Qian Guangsun immediately became anxious and rushed to Mo Qingyun's side. When Qian Guangsun arrived in front of Mo Qingyun, Yuan Xie, who was supported by his clansmen, sneered and said, Qian Guangsun, Mo Qingyun received a punch from Elder Yun Sun. Now he's most likely dead. You'd better obediently wait for death. You want me, Qian Guangsun, to wait for death? That's impossible. If you have the ability, come and take it. Qian Guangsun replied proudly and unyieldingly to Yuan Xie's smug words. Then, Qian Guangsun released his immortal infant stage aura and shielded Mo Qingyun behind him. Senior brother Qian, don't worry. I'm fine. Seeing Qian Guangsun protect him, Mo Qingyun slowly stood up and patted Qian Guangsun's shoulder with a faint smile. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he walked in front of Qian Guangsun and gestured for him to step aside. Seeing Mo Qingyun walk in front of him, Qian Guangsun was pleasantly surprised. However, he still asked in a worried tone, Junior brother Mo, are you really all right? Of course. In response to Qian Guangsun's words of concern, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He glanced at Yuan Tainan and Yun Shur Sun with disdain and said, "The two of them don't have the ability to hurt me. Even true immortals are only SOSO. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, his body slowly floated into the air, and he faced off with Yuan Tainan and Yun Shur Sun again. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Qian Guangsuan's expression relaxed, and a bright smile appeared on his face. From the looks of it, Mo Qingyun was really fine. Compared to Qian Guangsuan's surprise, Yuan Xie's expression was trembling. He said with a frightened expression, How is this possible? How can a person at the peak of the early stage of the immortal fog stage be fine after taking a full blow from a true immortal?" Hearing Yuan Xie's words, the people of the three great clans were puzzled. They were very curious about how Mo Qingyun did it. You could take a blow from me and be fine. I don't believe that you could take multiple blows from me." Seeing that Mo Qingyun was fine, Yun Shur Sun showed a cold expression and said that he didn't believe in heresy. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun was fine after taking a blow from him. He must have used some kind of magic. Chapter 1269. You won't have the chance to attack me again. Hearing Yun Shur Sun's words, Mo Qingyun shook his head with a faint smile. His expression gradually turned cold as he said, "That was just a warm-up. Since the warm-up is over, it's time to bury you. Mo Zai, come out." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he summoned Mo Zai. After Mo Zai appeared, he emitted the aura of an immortal infant stage expert, giving others a very seductive feeling. Seeing Mo Zai beside Mo Qingyun, Yuan Tainan, and the others were all shocked. They were a little surprised by Mo Zai's appearance. Mo Qingyun actually had such a trick up his sleeve. A clone? Or a puppet? Seeing Mo Zai beside Mo Qingyun, Yuan Tainan couldn't help but look at each other, guessing Mo Zai's identity. After guessing to no avail, Yuan Tianan's face was filled with disdain. He coldly snorted and said, "He's just an immortal infant stage brat. This old man doesn't believe that he can change the current situation. Since you don't believe me, then you better watch carefully." Hearing Yuan Tianan's questioning words, Mo Qingyun revealed a mocking smile and indifferently replied, "That's right. Gate of Fusion." After summoning Mo Zai, Mo Qingyun used the Gate of Fusion and fused himself with Mo Zai. Two gates of light that emitted a strange power suddenly appeared above Mo Qingyun and Mo Zai, quickly enveloping them. The Gate of Fusion enveloped Mo Qingyun and Mo Zai, quickly gathering them together and fusing them together. As Mo Qingyun and Mo Zai fused together, the aura emitted from his body quickly increased. After a while, the aura emitted from Mo Qingyun's body broke through to the immortal infant stage. Fusion? Immortal infant stage. Sensing the change in Mo Qingyun's aura, Yuan Tainan and the others were all shocked, and their expressions became tense. If that was the case, they were in a bad situation. When Mo Qingyun was only at the peak of the early immortal fog stage, he was already able to kill immortal infant stage experts. Now that Mo Qingyun's cultivation had reached the immortal infant stage, wouldn't they be true immortal realm experts? After thinking up to this point, Yuan Tainan and the other man's expressions tensed up, and a strong sense of unease arose in their hearts. The two of them had just broken through to the true immortal state. They did not want to die here now. While Yuan Tainan and the others' expressions were tense, Mo Qingyun didn't go easy on them. He directly used the sealing gate on them. The sealed door. Two mini versions of the light gates quickly formed. They transformed into two white streams of light and bombarded towards Yuan Tainan and the other man. Faced with the sealed door's attack, Yuan Tainan and the other man did not hesitate at all. They both struck out with their palms towards the sealed door. However, what they did not expect was that the sealed gate would be able to directly penetrate through their attacks. The seal pierced through the attacks of Yuan Tainan and Li Wuyo and directly entered their bodies, beginning to seal their blood, qi, and divine souls. Puff, puff, being suppressed and sealed by the sealed door. Yuan Tainan and the other man immediately coughed up blood. Their faces turned pale. What made Yuan Tainan and the other even more shocked was that their cultivation was dropping. It seemed like it was about to fall out of the true immortal state. Soon, Yuan Tainan and the others' faces were filled with despair as their cultivation dropped out of the true immortal state. Elder Yuan Tainan and Elder Yun Shi's cultivation dropped from the true immortal state to the immortal infant stage. This Mo Qing Yun is so terrifying. He actually knows how to seal other people's cultivation. When Mo Qing Yun was at the peak of the early immortal fog stage, he could already kill immortal infant experts. Now that he has the cultivation of the immortal infant stage, doesn't that mean with Yuan Tainan and the others' current strength, they definitely won't be able to block Mo Qing Yun's attack? Let's run. Right, let's run. Otherwise, we'll all die here. Seeing Yuan Tainan and the others' cultivation drop from the true immortal state to the immortal infant stage, the three clans immediately panicked. Then, they didn't dare to stay any longer. They all wanted to leave this place immediately. Isn't it too late to think about running away now? Seeing the reaction of the three clans, Mo Qing Yun revealed a mocking smile. His body flashed and attacked them. Then, Mo Qing Yun's body turned into a ray of light and chased after the three clans. Sky-breaking halberd. With a few flashes, Mo Qing Yun arrived in front of the three great clans and slashed out with his halberd. 1,000-meter-long fire dragon halberd light immediately poured out from the immortal burning halberd and headed towards the three clans. Bang, bang, bang. Under Mo Qing Yun's halberd, the three clans were instantly sent flying. All of them fell to the ground, heavily injured and spitting out blood. Looking at their current state, they've most likely lost the ability to fight. At this moment, the only reason they were able to keep their lives was because Mo Qing Yun held back. Or else, under Mo Qing Yun's halberd, they would have all become corpses. Of course, when Mo Qing Yun made his move, there were also some fish that escaped the net. However, their fates were not so lucky. They were directly killed by Mo Qing Yun with a thunderous momentum. Senior Brother Qian, I'll leave them to you. After crippling the three clans, Mo Qing Yun instructed Qian Guang Sunday. Then, he once again charged towards Yuan Tainan and the other. Seeing Mo Qing Yun's return, Yuan Tainan and the others' faces twitched. Their expressions were full of fear. Too powerful. The power of Mo Qing Yun's halberd was something that even if they were of the true immortal realm, they may not be able to do. Mo Qing Yun, what exactly do you want? Looking at Mo Qing Yun, who wasn't far away, Yuan Tianan's face twitched as he asked in a panicked tone. In response to Yuan Tianan's question, Mo Qing Yun's expression turned cold. He said coldly, "Of course I want to kill you. Great heavenly demon finger." After Mo Qing Yun's words, he didn't waste any more words with Yuan Tainan and the others. Instead, he pointed a finger at them. Boom, boom, boom. Under Mo Qing Yun's finger, dark clouds immediately gathered above Yuan Tainan and the other's head. Low rumbling sounds could be heard. If one looked carefully, they would be able to see that within the dark clouds above, there was a huge finger forming. A moment later, a huge finger that was hundreds of feet long shot towards Yuan Tainan and the other's head. It was as if Mount Tai was pressing down on them. Quick, block it. Seeing the huge finger coming towards them, Yuan Tainan hurriedly reminded Yun Shi's son. He quickly blocked the huge finger. Hearing Yuan Tianan's reminder, Yun Shi's son didn't dare to hesitate. He quickly blocked the huge finger in the sky. Seeing Yun Shi's son and Yuan Tainan make a move, the expressions of the three clans that were still alive instantly became serious. This was their last chance to live. If they blocked it, they would still have a chance to live. If they couldn't, they would all die here today. Chapter 1270. Flaming Bull Divine Shield. At this moment, Yuan Tainan used the natural ability of the Flaming Shield Bull tribe. He didn't dare to hold back. Mu, a gigantic red bull shadow, instantly appeared above Yuan Tainan. It transformed into a gigantic flaming shield and met the great heavenly demon finger head-on. Viper's roots. Just like Yuan Tainan, Meteor Sun immediately used the Wood Spirit Serpent clan's innate ability. A huge mottled snake shadow quickly condensed above Yunshi Sun. Its head and tail joined together to form a circle and met the great heavenly demon finger head-on. Bang! Bang! Two loud sounds rang out. The great heavenly demon finger clashed with the flaming bull shield and the snake shield, creating a spiritual energy storm. Under the illumination of this spiritual energy storm, the entire world was dyed red. It was so bright that the surrounding people couldn't open their eyes. When this blinding light appeared, the flaming bull shield and the snake shield collapsed under the attack of the great heavenly demon finger. After destroying the flaming bull shield and the snake shield, the power of the great heavenly demon finger's attack didn't decrease at all. It continued to attack Yuan Tainan and Yunshi Sun. Soon, Yuan Tainan and Yunshi Sun were hit by the great heavenly demon finger and blasted directly into the ground. Bang! Another shockingly loud sound rang out. Following that, the earth quaked and the mountains shook. A terrifying sandstorm was set off on the ground. Under this terrifying sandstorm, the people from the three great clans were instantly sent flying. Their injuries became more serious. However, at this moment, they couldn't care less about their injuries. They all looked at the sandstorm with tense expressions. After a while, the sandstorm dissipated and a huge crater appeared on the ground. In the middle of this crater, two middle-aged men in ragged clothes were lying on the ground. They were Yuan Tainan and Yunshi Sun. Now, Yuan Tainan and Yunshi Sun only had one breath left. It was as if they would die at any moment. Get the hell out. Looking at Yuan Tainan and Yunshi Sun at the bottom of the crater, Mo Qingyun's expression was cold. He raised his hand and grabbed at the two of them. Then, a powerful wave of spiritual energy shot out from Mo Qingyun's hand and pulled Yuan Tainan and Yunshi Sun out of the crater. Plop! Plop! Two muffled sounds rang out. Yuan Tainan and Yunshi Sun were thrown to the ground like dead dogs by Mo Qingyun. Seeing Yuan Tainan and Yunshi Sun's miserable state, the three great clans members' faces turned ashen. Even with Yuan Tainan and Yunshi Sun's strength, they were unable to resist Mo Qingyun's attack. This time, they were dead. Mo Qingyun threw Yuan Tainan and Yuan Tainan to the ground. Mo Qingyun didn't show them any mercy and directly stabbed his halberd at them. Seeing the immortal immolating war halberd stabbing towards them, Yuan Tainan and Yuan Tainan no longer dared to play dead. They hurriedly left their bodies and abandoned their bodies. Gourd's gourd. Mo Qingyun took out the yin-yang mother-child gourd and began to collect their souls when he saw their souls leave their bodies. Yunshi Sun, S is to S Sun's, Sun, S bull, SSS. No, his soul was swallowed by the yin-yang child mother gourd smoke. Yuan Tainan immediately let out a blood-curdling scream. His voice was filled with intense fear. However, Mo Qingyun did not soften his heart just because of their fear. Mo Qingyun was very clear that if he was the one who was defeated today, Yuan Tainan and Sun would be even more ruthless. Very quickly, Yuan Tainan and Sun's souls were forcefully sucked into the yin-yang child mother gourd. After collecting the two souls, Mo Qingyun revealed a satisfied smile and put away the yin-yang mother-child gourd. From his point of view, Yuan Tainan and Sun's souls were true immortal stage experts. If he could refine their souls, his soul should be able to increase by quite a bit. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was feeling satisfied, the surrounding people were stunned. Yuan Tainan and Yunshi Sun were both dead. Under Mo Qingyun's tyrannical attack, even their souls couldn't escape. Junior apprentice brother Mo, he's already this strong? Seeing how Mo Qingyun killed Yuan Tainan and Sun's Yuan Tainan and Sun's Yuan Tainan, Qian Guangxuan immediately felt a sense of unreality. It could be said that during the time he had known Mo Qingyun, he had watched Mo Qingyun grow. Even so, Mo Qingyun's speed of growth still exceeded his expectations time and time again. Time after time, he was shocked. In just a few short months, Mo Qingyun had grown from a Sky Realm Junior to someone who could kill a true immortal stage expert. This speed of growth was simply too frightening. Even though Yuan Tainan and Sun's Yuan Tainan and Sun's Yuan Tainan had just broken through to the true immortal stage and had yet to condense a star, they were still true immortal stage experts. Under normal circumstances, even a true immortal stage expert who had condensed a star wouldn't be able to kill the two of them easily. Didn't you see that when Yo Sheng and Xiang Xie joined forces, they still couldn't kill the three-headed hellhound Wu Cheng? Of course, at the same time that Qian Guangxuan was shocked, he was more than happy. To them, the stronger Mo Qingyun was, the better. This way, he would have one more person to rely on in the Immortal Palace. No, impossible. How did he become so strong? Didn't he just break through to the Sky Immortal stage? Seeing how Yuan Tainan and Sun's Yuan Tainan and Sun's Yuan Tainan and Sun's death, Yuan Xie's face was filled with disbelief. He couldn't accept this for a long time. One had to know that Mo Qingyun's cultivation was an entire realm lower than Yuan Tianan's. Moreover, when Yuan Tainan and Mo Qingyun were fighting, Yinshi Sun was helping Yuan Tainan from the side. A junior at the peak of the early stage of the Immortal Fog Realm fought against two powerhouses who had hopes of reaching the true immortal stage. Moreover, he even killed two true immortal stage powerhouses. If such a thing were to be told to others, no one would believe it. Now, while Yuan Xie and the others were shocked, Mo Qingyun looked at them coldly and said, "Since Yuan Tainan and Sun's Yuan Tainan and Sun's are dead, it's time to send you on your way." Heavenly Flame's sky-breaking halberd. After Mo Qingyun's cold words, he waved the immortal burning halberd in his hand and swept it towards Yuan Xie and the others. Suddenly, a 1,000-meter-long fire dragon halberd light shot out from the immortal burning halberd. Once the fire dragon halberd light shot out, it instantly enveloped Yuan Xie and the others and swallowed them. "Ah, my arm. Mo Qingyun, don't kill me. I was wrong. I don't want to die. I want to become a true immortal stage powerhouse." Yuan Xie and the others were swallowed by the fire dragon halberd light, and they screamed in agony. Some were unwilling, some were begging for mercy, and some were terrified. Mo Qingyun did not feel soft-hearted towards Yuan Xie and the others. He looked on indifferently as Yuan Xie and the others died. To Mo Qingyun, when he killed Yuan Xie and the others, he had exposed too many of his trump cards. This news could not be leaked out. Therefore, Yuan Xie and the others had to die. Only a dead man's mouth would be sealed. Chapter 1271. As for Qian Guangxuan, he had also seen Mo Qingyun's attack. However, after interacting with Qian Guangxuan during this period of time, Mo Qingyun had a lot of trust in his character. He believed that Qian Guangxuan would not reveal his secret. After a while, the flames of the fire dragon halberd radiance gradually dissipated and Yuan Xie and the others disappeared completely. They were all burned by the fire dragon halberd radiance until not even their souls were left. They completely disappeared from the world. "Senior brother Qian, let's go." After killing Yuan Xie and the others, Mo Qingyun did not want to stay any longer and turned to leave the battlefield space. Okay. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Guangxuan did not want to stay any longer and left with Mo Qingyun. When he left with Mo Qingyun, Qian Guangxuan's face was filled with emotion as he secretly rejoiced. He had gained a lot from this trip to the battlefield space. Not only did he solve the problem of Yuan Xie, but his cultivation had also increased to the nascent soul stage and was much stronger than Ji Qiong. Of course, when Mo Qingyun returned to the Eternal South Immortal Palace and gave Ji Qiong some God Clan blood, Ji Qiong's cultivation would catch up to his. However, this was not important to Qian Guangxuan. What was important was that he was able to meet Mo Qingyun as a brother. It was really a great blessing in his life. About 2 hours later, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan walked straight and left the battlefield space, preparing to leave the Demon River Luo River. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan left the Demon River Luo River, Lu Bing and the others coincidentally met in the battlefield space. They did not know if it was a coincidence or because someone was guiding them. The place where the 6 of them met was actually the collapsed mountain where Kokuan No. 9 lived. Senior brother Lu Bing. Have you found junior brother Mo? No. Have you found him? No. After Lu Bing and the others met, they exchanged a few words and asked each other if they had found Mo Qingyun. After a brief conversation with Lu Bing, Wang Hui could not help but reveal a disappointed expression when she learned that Lu Bing had not found Mo Qingyun either. Could it be that Mo Qingyun had really met with misfortune? Hey, there's a tunnel here. It seems to lead to a cave. While Lu Bing and the others were talking, Li Yuanxiong revealed a surprised expression and looked at the collapsed mountain peak. After Li Yuanxiong finished speaking, he walked towards the collapsed mountain and came to the entrance of the tunnel. When Li Yuanxiong came to the entrance of the collapsed mountain, Lu Bing and the others saw his movements and quickly followed him. When they arrived at the front of the tunnel, Wang Hui and the other girls frowned, and their expressions became serious. The thick smell of blood coming from this tunnel gave them a very oppressive feeling, making them feel very uncomfortable. Like Wang Hui and the other girls, Lu Bing stood in front of the tunnel and also felt very oppressive. He hurriedly advised Li Yuanxiong beside him, "Junior brother Li, the smell of blood in this tunnel is too strong. I'm afraid it's an evil place. We better not go in." Li Yuanxiong did not appreciate Lu Bing's kind advice at all. He said unhappily, "Senior brother Lu, I didn't stop you when you wanted to accompany them to find Mo Qingyun. Now I'm going to explore this cave. I hope you won't stop me either." Humph. After Li Yuanxiong finished speaking, he snorted coldly and walked straight into the tunnel, ignoring Lu Bing and the others beside him. Seeing Li Yuanxiong's behavior, Lu Bing could not help but reveal a helpless expression. He smiled awkwardly at Wang Hui and the other 2 girls beside him and asked, "Junior sisters, I'm worried that junior brother Li will be in danger if he enters the tunnel alone. Therefore, I'm going to accompany him to explore. Do you 3 want to go in together?" Hearing Lu Bing's question, Wang Hui and the other 2 girls fell silent and considered whether to enter the tunnel or not. After some hesitation, Wang Hui made up her mind and shook her head. "This battlefield is more dangerous than the Demon River. To be safe, we won't go in together." Okay. Lu Bing did not force Wang Hui's decision. He nodded to show his understanding and said, "In that case, I'll enter the tunnel. We're also going back to the Immortal Palace. Senior brother Lu, see you later." Seeing that Lu Bing was about to enter the tunnel, Wang Hui and the other 2 girls said goodbye to him and turned to leave. "Junior brother Sun He, let's go in." Seeing that Wang Hui and the other 2 girls had left, Lu Bing did not waste any more time and quickly chased after Li Yuanxiong in the tunnel. After a short while, Lu Bing and Sun He finally caught up with Li Yuanxiong in front of them. At this moment, in front of Lu Bing and the other 2 girls, there were pools of different sizes. What is this place? Why are there so many pools? What are these pools for? Although I don't know where this is from the decorations here, it shouldn't be the abode of some powerhouse. From the looks of the current situation, this shouldn't be a safe place. Why don't we leave? No, since I've already come here. How can I leave like this if I don't understand this place? Looking at the situation in the tunnel, Lu Bing and the other 2 girls revealed solemn expressions and had different thoughts. Seeing that Li Yuanxiong insisted on going in, Lu Bing was helpless and followed Li Yuanxiong deeper into the tunnel. When Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong went deeper into the tunnel, Sun He frowned slightly and said coldly, "There's a feeling in this tunnel that makes my heart palpitate. I won't go any deeper. I'll wait for you outside the tunnel." With that, Sun He turned around and left without waiting for Lu Bing and the others to respond. Seeing Sun He's behavior, Lu Bing did not say anything. He knew that Sun He was like this. Coward. Li Yuanxiong immediately snorted when he saw Sun He leave. He felt disdain for Sun He. Then, Li Yuanxiong and Lu Bing continued to go deeper into the tunnel. A quarter of an hour later, a pool of blood and a formation that emitted a strange power appeared in front of them. Looking at the scene in front of them, Li Yuanxiong and Lu Bing were puzzled. They were curious about the pool and the formation. Recently, this battlefield space has been very lively. There are always some juniors coming to see this old man. At this moment, when Li Yuanxiong and Lu Bing were puzzled, a faint smile entered their ears. Then, they saw a tiger-headed God clan member appear not far in front of them. That's right, the one who appeared in front of them was Ko-Kun 9, who had fused the blood of Yuan Tainan and the others. God clan? Seeing the appearance of Ko-Kun number 9, Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong were shocked, and their expressions became solemn. Chapter 1272. Not bad. Both of you are as talented as Yuan Xie. While Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong were looking at Ko-Kun number 9, Ko-Kun number 9 was also looking at them and nodding with a satisfied expression. Looking at Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong with a faint smile, Ko-Kun number 9 grinned meaningfully and said, "This old man was worried about what to do if Yuan Xie and the others died and my previous plan failed. I didn't expect you two to come. It saved me a lot of trouble." After Ko-Kun number 9 spoke, he released an astonishing aura that shrouded Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong. Under Ko-Kun number 9's aura, Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong immediately trembled. They looked at Ko-Kun number 9 in horror and said, "Who are you? What do you want to do to us?" Ko-Kun number 9 didn't answer Li Yuanxiong's question. He just raised his hand and grabbed Li Yuanxiong into the air and said, "I didn't expect you to have a fire spiritual root. In that case, you can fuse with the bloodline of the three-headed fire dragon." After Ko-Kun said to himself, he raised his hand and grabbed a blood pool, taking out some blood and injecting it into Li Yuanxiong's body. After injecting the blood into Li Yuanxiong's body, Ko-Kun didn't stop and directly threw him into the strange array. "Junior Brother Li, what did you do to my junior brother Li?" Seeing Ko-Kun number 9's action, Lu Bing showed a nervous expression and hurriedly questioned Ko-Kun number 9. However, before Lu Bing could finish his words, Ko-Kun number 9 caught him and said with a faint smile, "Kid, don't be too impatient. When this old man injects you with the blood of the divine race, you'll know what I did to him." As Ko-Kun's words fell, he grabbed another blood pool and took out some blood and injected it into Lu Bing's body. Then, Ko-Kun number 9 threw Lu Bing into the array and let him fuse with the blood in his body. Perhaps to improve the fusion of Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong, Ko-Kun number 9 threw Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong into the array and made hand seals to help Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong fuse with the blood better. With the help of Ko-Kun number 9, the fusion speed of Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong was obviously greatly improved. Not long after, their auras rose at an astonishing speed. In this way, time quietly passed as Lu and Bing's blood merged with each other. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. The Lu and Bing duo finally reached a point of saturation after fusing with the God race blood. Their cultivation also stopped increasing. At this moment, Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong's cultivation had reached the peak of the immortal infant stage. Great circle of the immortal infant stage. Who says that there are no fortuitous encounters in this cave? Isn't this the best fortuitous encounter? Seeing that his cultivation had improved, Li Yuanxiong revealed an ecstatic smile, and his expression revealed excitement. Right now, the most important thing for him was to increase his strength. It didn't matter what method he used. Compared to Li Yuanxiong's thoughts, Lu Bing's mood was much more complicated. Originally, he entered the tunnel just to protect Li Yuanxiong. He never thought that he would be injected with the blood of the God race. This way, he would no longer be a genius disciple of the East Dawn Immortal Palace, but a spy sent by the divine race to the immortals. This huge change in status caused Lu Bing to feel a sense of sorrow in his heart. If he had known this earlier, he would have left the battlefield directly like Wang Hui and the others. However, it seemed that it was too late to regret now. Alas, Liu Bing sighed in his heart. He abandoned the distracting thoughts in his mind and turned to look at Ko Kuan number 9. At this point, all he could do now was to take one step at a time. Senior brother Liu thanked the senior for his cultivation. Looking at Liu Bing, who was sighing with emotion, Li Yuanxiong, who was next to him, immediately urged him with a cold face. Hearing Li Yuanxiong's words, Liu Bing sighed again in his heart and quickly thanked Ko Kuan number 9. Junior Liu Bing thanks the senior for bestowing me with the blood of the god race. Seeing Liu Bing and Li Yuanxiong's performance, Ko Kuan number 9 nodded with satisfaction and raised his hand to touch Liu Bing and Li Yuanxiong's celestial spirits. Buzz. Then Liu Bing and Li Yuanxiong felt a buzz in their heads, and something appeared in their sea of consciousness instantly. After this feeling appeared, Liu Bing and Li Yuanxiong immediately widened their eyes, and a sense of horror arose in their hearts. A soul imprint. This person had planted a soul imprint in their sea of consciousness. Didn't this mean that from now on, their lives were no longer in their own hands? Senior V. Seeing Ko Kuan number 9's performance, Liu Bing showed a bitter and puzzled expression and wanted to ask why Ko Kuan number 9 had done this. However, before Liu Bing could finish his words, Li Yuanxiong interrupted him and flattered Ko Kuan number 9. Senior brother Liu, how can you question the senior? The matter of merging blood is of great importance, and there is no room for the slightest carelessness or carelessness. The senior planted a soul imprint in our sea of consciousness. In fact, this is an indirect way of protecting us. Ha, little guy, you're quite sensible. This old man likes it very much. Seeing Li Yuanxiong's performance, Ko Kuan number 9 nodded with satisfaction. He raised his hand and took out a 3-edged harpoon weapon, saying, "This starry 3-edged harpoon is an upper-grade immortal weapon. I got it from a cultivator of the true immortal realm. Now, I'll give it to you as a reward." As soon as Ko Kuan number 9 finished speaking, he threw the starry 3-edged harpoon to Li Yuanxiong. Senior, thank you for your reward. This junior will do his best to serve you. Receiving the starry 3-edged harpoon from Ko Kuan number 9, Li Yuanxiong was pleasantly surprised and quickly expressed his loyalty to Ko Kuan number 9. A upper-grade immortal weapon. Even many powerhouses of the true immortal realm might not have such a treasure. He was only at the peak of the immortal infant stage now, but he actually got such a magic weapon. He was really lucky. Seeing Ko Kuan number 9 rewarded Li Yuanxiong with a starry 3-edged harpoon, Liu Bing showed an envious expression and wished he could exchange his identity with Li Yuanxiong. He could see that this starry 3-edged harpoon was more suitable for him. Unfortunately, because Li Yuanxiong won Ko Kuan number 9's favor, he was given to Li Yuanxiong by Ko Kuan number 9. Seeing Liu Bing's expression, Ko Kuan number 9 smiled meaningfully and understood Liu Bing's thoughts. He said in a deep voice, "Boy, you don't have to be envious of him. As long as you work hard for me in the future, a magic weapon like the starry 3-edged harpoon will definitely be yours." Yes, this junior will do his best to serve you, senior. Hearing Ko Kuan number 9's words, Liu Bing quickly nodded and agreed. He decided to work for Ko Kuan number 9 wholeheartedly in the future. Seeing Liu Bing's performance, Ko Kuan number 9 nodded with satisfaction, knowing that his purpose had been achieved. Chapter 1273. It had to be said that although Li Yuanxiong was very arrogant, his flattery skills were still very strong. Under his constant flattery, Ko Kuan number 9 smiled very happily and gave Li Yuanxiong some treasures. Seeing Li Yuanxiong being treated like this, Liu Bing could only show an envious expression. He was really not good at flattery. After enjoying Li Yuanxiong's flattery, Ko Kuan number 9 showed a solemn expression and waved his hand to Liu Bing and Li Yuanxiong, saying, "Now, there's nothing for you to do here. You two can leave. Go back to the immortal palace and cultivate well. When your cultivation breaks through to the great star position of the true immortal realm, I will naturally give you orders." Yes, Junior will take his leave now. Seeing Cocoa number nine's order, Lu Bing respectfully responded and turned to walk out of the tunnel. Just as Lu Bing was about to leave, Li Yuanxiong's expression changed, and he said with a gloomy expression, "Senior, there is a senior brother of mine at the entrance of this tunnel. That guy's always disliked me, and he is suspicious by nature. If he sees that my cultivation has skyrocketed, I am worried that he will report the situation here to the Immortal Palace." At that time, then, Li Yuanxiong spoke of his concerns. In addition, at the end of his words, he made a beheading gesture, as if he wanted Cocoon number 9 to kill Sun He. Seeing Li Yuanxiong's action, Lu Bing immediately showed a look of pity and quickly gave Li Yuanxiong a look, indicating that Li Yuanxiong should stop talking. After using his eyes to stop Li Yuanxiong from talking, Lu Bing showed a pleading expression and said to Cocoon number 9, "Senior, that junior brother Sun He is very talented. Senior, why don't you also fuse with his blood? This way, you can have one more person to do things for you. There's no need for that. The two of you kill him so that he won't leak any information about this place." Cocoon number 9 waved his hand and refused Lu Bing's request. He ordered Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong in a cold tone and said, "Killing Sun He is the first test this old man has for you. I hope you won't let this old man down. Junior will definitely complete it and won't let Senior down." Hearing Cocoon number 9's words, Li Yuanxiong immediately showed a look of surprise and hurriedly promised Cocoon number 9. Seeing Li Yuanxiong's attitude, Cocoon number 9 nodded with satisfaction and said, "Well, you two can leave now." "Yes, Junior will do it right now." Seeing Cocoon number 9 to drive them away again, Li Yuanxiong didn't dare to stay any longer and quickly turned to leave the tunnel. Who was to leave to the Immortal Palace to be to Sun He was waiting there, waiting there. Sensing that Li Yuanxiong and Lu Bing had come out, Sun He, who had been waiting here, stopped cultivating and walked towards Lu Bing, and Lu Bing was the peak of the peak immortal stage. Chapter 1274. Soon, Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong caught up with Sun He and blocked his way. "Senior brother Lu, are you really going to kill me?" Looking at Lu Bing, who was blocking his way, Sun He wore a cold expression and silently prayed in his heart. "Lu Bing, please don't be like Li Yuanxiong and kill him without considering their friendship." Looking at Sun He in front of him, Lu Bing wore a cold expression and said to Sun He, "Junior brother Sun He, I'm sorry. I have no choice." After Lu Bing finished speaking, he no longer hesitated and immediately attacked Sun He. "Oomph, hypocrite." Seeing Lu Bing attacking him, Sun He looked at him with disdain and said disdainfully. Lu Bing had said nice things before, but in the end, he actually took the initiative to kill him. He was a complete villain. Lu Bing ignored Sun He's disdainful words and continued to attack Sun He coldly. Sun He's cultivation was not as high as Lu Bing's, and now that he was seriously injured, he was naturally no match for Lu Bing. Then, under Lu Bing's overbearing attack, Sun He was quickly killed by Lu Bing. "Lu Bing, Li Yuanxiong, if Sun He, don't die, I will definitely expose you two despicable villains." When Sun He's body was defeated, his soul immediately escaped from his body and disappeared from Lu Bing and Li Yuanxiong's sight. Seeing this, Lu Bing's expression immediately turned cold. He wanted to destroy Sun He's soul. Unfortunately, Sun He's soul escaped too quickly, and it was too late for him to chase after it. After chasing for a distance, he could only give up and show a helpless expression. He actually let Sun He's soul escape, which was not a good thing. Senior brother Lu is still the best. You killed Sun He in just 5 moves. Li Yuanxiong chased to Lu Bing's side and gave him a thumbs up, showing an expression of admiration. He did not expect that Lu Bing, a good guy, would be even more terrifying than him when he was ruthless. Looking at Lu Bing's actions just now, it seemed that he wanted to destroy Sun He's soul as well. This was quite heartless. "Unfortunately, I couldn't destroy Sun He's soul." Lu Bing ignored Li Yuanxiong's words and said regretfully, "Let's go." let's go back to the Immortal Palace. As soon as Liu Bing finished speaking, he directly walked forward, giving off an extremely cold feeling. Seeing Liu Bing's performance, Li Yuanxiong couldn't help but be startled. He suddenly felt that Liu Bing had become very unfamiliar. However, he didn't think too much about it. He hesitated for a moment before following after her. Eternal South Immortal Palace, Ji Qiong's residence. Junior Apprentice Brother Mo, Junior Apprentice Brother Qian. Did everything go smoothly at the Devil's Lake? Seeing Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan's arrival, Ji Qiong was pleasantly surprised and quickly greeted them. Yes, it went well. Mo Qingyun nodded and sat down with Ji Qiong in the pavilion. After Mo Qingyun sat down, he put on a solemn expression and asked Ji Qiong, Senior Brother Ji, later on, did Yuan Mo come to trouble you? Seeing Mo Qingyun ask about Yuan Mo, Ji Qiong's expression also became serious. He said in a deep voice, Yuan Mo didn't come to trouble me. However, his followers came to make trouble every now and then. Hearing Ji Qiong's description, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan's expressions immediately became gloomy. When Qian Guangxuan's face was filled with anger, he unconsciously released the aura of his immortal infant stage cultivation. The aura of an early stage immortal infant stage. Sensing Qian Guangxuan's aura, Ji Qiong immediately showed a surprised expression and said in surprise, Junior Brother Qian, your cultivation has broken through to the immortal infant stage? It seems that you guys have encountered a lot of fortuitous encounters on your trip to the Demon River. This is all thanks to Junior Brother Mo. Qian Guangxuan instantly revealed an embarrassed expression when he heard Ji Qiong's words. He smiled embarrassedly and turned to look at Mo Qingyun. Senior Brother Ji, Mo Qingyun will give you some good stuff later. At that time, you'll be able to improve as quickly as I did. In that case, I won't hold back. Hearing Qian Guangxuan's words, Ji Qiong couldn't help but look curiously, and a strong sense of anticipation arose in his heart. What kind of treasure could directly raise Qian Guangxuan's cultivation by 2 small realms in just half a month? Considering the seriousness of the God Clan's blood, Mo Qingyun carefully scanned the surroundings and said with a tense expression, Senior Brother Ji, to prevent others from spying on us, let's find a safe place to talk first. Mo Qingyun knew very well that the God Clan's blood contained an astonishing amount of energy. If he took it out like this, it would definitely be discovered by the experts of the Immortal Palace. Therefore, to ensure their safety, it was better to find a safe place. Both of you follow me. Seeing Mo Qingyun's serious expression, Ji Qiong also realized the seriousness of the matter and hurriedly led Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan to the inner court. After a while, under Ji Qiong's lead, Mo Qingyun and Qian Guangxuan arrived at a secret room. Walking into this secret room, Ji Qiong put on a serious expression and said to Mo Qingyun, Junior Brother Mo, this secret room has an isolation formation that can isolate the senses of soul power. Therefore, you don't have to worry about being spied on and eavesdropped by others. After hearing Ji Qiong's words, Mo Qingyun took out a small jade bottle and handed it to Ji Qiong. Senior Brother Ji, this contains some God Clan's blood. If you refine it, your cultivation should be able to improve a lot. God Clan's blood. Looking at the jade bottle handed over by Mo Qingyun, Ji Qiong couldn't help but be puzzled. He didn't understand the meaning of Mo Qingyun's words. Chapter 1275. Junior Apprentice Brother Mo, many thanks. Seeing that Mo Qingyun and Qian Guang were about to leave, Ji Qiong didn't try to stop them. He only thanked Mo Qingyun. In response to Ji Qiong's gratitude, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and waved his hand. He didn't take it to heart. After exiting the secret room, Mo Qingyun separated from Qian Guang's son and returned to the East Immortal Palace alone. Not long later, Mo Qingyun returned to the East Immortal Palace and hurried back to Qingyun's residence. When Mo Qingyun returned to Qingyun's residence, a surprising scene appeared. Yuan Mo, and company were actually waiting outside Qin Yun's residence. Seeing Yuan Mo and company in front of Qin Yun's residence, Qin Yun's footsteps didn't stop. He directly walked towards the main entrance of Qin Yun's residence. However, when Qin Yun walked towards the main entrance of Qin Yun's residence, Yuan Mo and company blocked his path. Qin Yun, where is junior apprentice brother Yuan Xie? Why didn't he come back with you? After blocking Qin Yun's path, Yuan Mo had a cold expression on his face as he questioned Qin Yun. Hearing Yuan Mo's question, Qin Yun smiled faintly and shrugged his shoulders. Yuan Xie has hands and feet. How would I know where he went? At this point, Qin Yun paused for a moment. His expression turned cold as he said, "Besides, am I that close to Yuan Xie? What does his whereabouts have to do with me?" After Qin Yun finished speaking, he didn't bother with Yuan Mo and company anymore. He directly pushed them aside and walked towards Qin Yun's residence. Seeing Qin Yun directly walk into Qin Yun's residence, Yuan Mo's expression instantly turned gloomy. He emitted an intense chill and roared towards Qin Yun's residence. Qin Yun, don't be too arrogant in front of me. You better pray that junior apprentice brother Yuan Xie and the others are fine. Otherwise, our Yuan clan won't let you off. Today, when Yuan Mo heard that Qin Yun and Qian Guang had returned, he immediately returned to the Yuan clan. However, he didn't expect that not only did Yuan Xie not return, even Yuan Tainan and company didn't return. Yuan Tainan and company went to kill Qin Yun. But in the end, Qin Yun came back safely. However, Yuan Tainan and company were nowhere to be seen. This was too strange. After receiving this result, Yuan Mo couldn't help but feel uneasy. He thought that Yuan Tainan and company might have been killed. Therefore, when Yuan Mo returned to the Eternal South Immortal Palace, he couldn't wait to find Qin Yun. However, Qin Yun's current behavior had truly infuriated him. When he thought that Yuan Tainan might really be in Qin Yun's hands, Yuan Mo's expression turned even more gloomy. He emitted an intense killing intent and said angrily, Qin Yun, don't think that I can't do anything to you just because you're a new disciple.